right, I'm going to go ahead and say this to begin with. I have, like, the world's worst cough, and I'm going to apologize, so I don't apologize every other time when I cough throughout this whole thing. We're technologically advanced because we have phones, and that's how we're going to be able to read comments. Like, you and I have talked quite a few times about wanting to do more professional stuff, right? Like more professional based podcasting.
Is yours working? Mine isn't working.
Mine's working.
What have you done?
Now,
okay. Well, as long as I'm on here.
Are
okay.
you looking at the one? As long as I look good.
No, I just want to make sure that we're.
Yeah.
That it's working.
No, make sure you're on the right one, because there was one that was scheduled at 6, and I deleted it, and I started a new one because it wouldn't recognize the streaming stuff wouldn't recognize the software.
This should be this one. I can see Nick. I'm on time.
Nope. This one, the one that's actually playing.
Yeah, that's not on here.
Are you subscribed? Because I got a notification that it went live.
I am not subscribed.
It's like you don't even love me.
It's true.
So if you go to my old movies, which is my site, tap on the one that's going live right now, like on the main page.
Boop.
There you go. That's it.
What?
I know, technology. It's
and
a wonderful
they
thing.
can't cure baldness. How fucking awful is that shit? All right. Well, okay, so we have to look at our phones and know who's got questions?
Yeah, so like that's what I was saying is, like, sometime in the future it would be really awesome to be like, hey, we got like a little screen here and we can bring stuff up and we can interact. And I actually have a thing called a Stream Deck that you can like literally hit the buttons to like pause or go to this screen or play music or do whatever. And I use it for editing. But we could fucking use it for what it's intended for, streaming.
For podcasting.
I know. So like that would actually be cool.
Live-casting.
And then we could get like a little screen over here with like a feed. But I don't know how to do this stuff. Like, it's really frustrating. I can make movies. I don't know how to live stream.
I mean, you're doing good so far.
complicated.
It's working.
I appreciate the love. I really do. And apparently I'm no longer watching our thing. There we go. Okay, we got Nick. I'm going to stop fucking around with my phone. Put this up. All right. Hey,
So,
how's it going?
it's going good.
It is. Oh my
We're
God,
live
that's the
stream.
first time I've seen you smile today.
Really?
That makes me happy.
No, I was smiling upstairs.
Yeah, but it
It
was
was when I was giving you a hard time.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was giving you a hard time, and then I was looking at your wife and smiling, and I looked back at you. Like a little, I guess what I'm going to say next. It's going to get them going.
So I'm dying to ask how the trip went. I don't know if you want to dive into it this early in the conversation.
No,
but
yeah,
I've been
totally.
dying to hear about it.
So I took last Friday off, or the 2 Fridays off, I guess ago, and got all my gear and everything ready. Had to buy a couple extra things. Was like ready to go and everything. Burley ended up picking me up in Rockford. Heather drove me down to Rockford. Picked me up at like 9 in, and it's an 8-hour drive to Ely, Minnesota. It's not too bad. 8 hours, it goes pretty easy. I think Burley ended up doing like the first 4 hours, and I only had to drive the last 2.
Oh, that's nice.
But when we went in Duluth, now you go up to Duluth often, right?
Not often, but
Or you have been up to Duluth,
a few
location?
times.
Okay, so there's a strip like right on Lake Superior, just north of Duluth.
Okay.
That is this super cool. It's like a super cool touristy trap area that has like smoked fish and like different neat little shops, and coffee shops and rock shops and everything.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's all just north of that. So we've never driven through there. It's always been like, well, we got business to do. We got to go. So we just kind of drove through there, and like we stopped and looked at like some neat little places and some shops and everything. And
Yeah.
picked up some smoked fish on the way.
Oh, how was it?
Dude, I love like smoked salmon and everything, smoked tuna and all those things. They buy all that, or they literally fish it right out of Lake Superior, and they smoke it, and then you can eat it like something
Dude,
I mean, it's a little bit old. It's amazing.
I'm sorry. There is nothing better than like fresh caught fish.
Yes.
Like even
this
like,
was smoke. Like smokes takes hours to do.
Well, no, I don't mean
know.
like immediately, but I
Yeah.
mean like instead of like a
But
week.
immediately does taste really good.
Holy shit! Yeah. Hold on, Nick. I don't mean to. It's agreed. It's a little quiet. John's quieter than Jay for me. Might just be my phone. It shouldn't be the phone. We're pretty. Actually, yeah.
Check.
Yeah, you're reading louder on my end.
Check.
I mean, you also like we go in and out too. So something that you guys might not know is I spend a few hours on each episode cleaning it up, making sure all the levels are nice and even. So what you're hearing now is more raw.
Or what it actually sounds
Yeah.
So we were
So you got some smoked fish.
got some smoked fish. We drove up north. The very first night, usually what we do, because Burley makes all the food like a month in advance.
A month?
Yeah, because he makes everything.
Holy shit.
He buys all the stuff. He makes everything. He dries it, like puts it in a what's the thing that you use to like you can make like all the different
McDonald's bag.
like fruit roll ups or like
A dehydrator.
yeah, he's got a dehydrator.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
does like candied bacon, all sorts of stuff.
Oh, if you do
really good.
candy bacon can go wrong very easy, but it can go right so
He's
well.
pretty good at it. He makes like homemade Kahlua. He does all sorts of stuff.
Holy shit,
So
man.
he brings all that stuff. So usually when we get there, I'll buy him the dinner or wherever we go. We ended up the place was packed. It was very busy. This is the very first time I've ever been there in the fall.
Oh,
Fall and Evie was pretty busy.
Yeah, okay.
You know, the fall colors were just starting to change. There was a lot of people out there. So we ended up going to like this steakhouse that was in town. It's pretty good.
Damn.
The food is pretty good. Like we had to like just sit at the bar. It was the only place that we had room. And the people that were sitting next to us, they were people who do side-by-side trails. I guess I never really knew what a side-by-side
the
was.
car?
Yeah, so it's it's kind of like that thing that's a cross in between a four-wheeler and a golf cart.
Oh, like a UTV.
Yes, or an OTV or a UTV, whatever they call it.
Ultimate terrain
Whatever
vehicle.
it is. It's a four-person
It's not a
or
four-wheeler. Yeah.
it's like two people or a four-person,
Yeah.
and there's trails, I guess, all over the place up there. And the people that were sitting next to us drove up from Minneapolis just on side trails, which I didn't know was a thing. Sounds so cool. And then on the way back, I was actually paying attention, and we saw these side-by-sides everywhere. Oh. It's just like in Colorado where they had like Jeep trails all over the place. They have all of these trails that just go all through these, all the lakes and everything and the forests up there.
My dad used to do something like
cool.
this. Yeah.
So cool. So they were sitting next to us and kind of talking to us about stuff. We ended up going to a bar there. We rented a house for just like the 2 nights.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, usually we go directly to an outfitter. We sleep in a bunkhouse. It's not really big. We have his dog with him, Boomer.
Oh, yeah.
Boomer's an awesome Boomer, the Wonder Dog. So we had Boomer with us, so it's a little bit easier to have a whole house. It's a real small house, less than 3,000 square foot.
But
Your
two
basement is
guys,
probably
right?
bigger square footage than the whole house.
But it's 2 guys.
2 guys. And
You're
a small
not going
dog.
there to be entertained. You're going there to rest. And
We needed enough room to like sleep and like sort through our gear.
Right.
We ended up like kind of walking around. We went to the bar. It was called the Wascally Wabbit, I think is what it was called.
Amazing.
We just had like a couple drinks there, and then I love going to a place and finding out like their local breweries. They have a place called Castle Danger, is the name of like a real popular brewery that's up there. And it got some and they always have like northern beers that are all like blueberries and
Hell yeah.
and like
Those are the beers I actually like.
it's really everything was like super good. So we did that as soon as we got into town Saturday night. Sunday we walked around, got breakfast at the local diner. Went to a couple stores and like picked up some additional gear. I think Burley had some boots he had to pick up, portage boots. There was a fair that was in town.
Oh, fun.
Like an arts fair.
Jesus.
We walked around a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
It was okay. It was okay.
But still something you wouldn't have seen otherwise, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we ended up stopping at our outfitter, which was a place right in downtown Ely, where we had to pick up our canoe and kind of like fill out the rest of the paperwork.
Yeah.
We had to pick up an additional portage pack. But yeah, man, just so it was pretty chill because we had to wake up early the next morning. We had to be there by 7.
Okay.
It was September 11th when we went out on the water, which was the Monday. It was really cool because, again, I got a great photo of them, like the firemen hanging the flag over the main road. So we got the photo as our canoe is getting towed in front of us. Because the way that they had it set up is the guy who gave us a tow, which like the actual tow on the boat, he actually mounted our canoe to the top of his vehicle and he brought it out and we just followed him out.
Okay.
There. And it's probably like a 30-minute drive to Moose Lake, which is northeast of Ely. We had to like park our vehicle. We had to get all of our gear ready. You got to pull all your stuff on. Boomer had to put his life vest on.
Yeah.
And we ended up, Burley has a 360-degree camera that he brought with.
Yeah.
And the camera, like literally you can hold the camera and you can move. I can watch it on my phone and I can see everything within 360 degrees while I'm watching it, and it records all 360 degrees. And he had a mount that he mounted to Boomer, which is
that's awesome.
So when we and I'll get to that, but when we went out there, like Burley held it up, as we went out, and then got towed. And the way that it works is it's like it's 10-mile tow. It's essentially a full day's paddle on a pretty big lake. When you have larger lakes, you get bigger waves, and sometimes it's really hard to paddle. It's more dangerous. So you just pay the like $70 to just kind of get towed out there.
Yeah.
It's like 70 there and 70 back additional.
It's like getting over the tutorial.
I guess in modern day gaming, that's the way that it would be. But and then we got towed all the way to Splash Lake, I think is the name of it. And then, it essentially started our day. We went into Ensign Lake, paddled up to the end of Ensign Lake, and went into Lake Vera. It was a 180 rod portage, which is everything said and done. It's a mile and a half portage. My back was like not the best.
Yeah.
The weird thing is like my back, like when I wear my backpack, my back feels great. But as soon as I take weight off of the backpack and I'm just walking, I can barely walk. So I tried to like go for the first 2 days, and then Burley ended up having to do a lot of we loaded up one bag as heavy as we could.
Okay.
And then he just came back and just did like a couple lighter bags.
Jeez.
I mean, he helped me out a bunch on this one. Like my back is way worse than I thought it was going to be.
Shit.
But when we went out on Lake Vera, we were on there for like maybe 20 minutes. Started pouring down rain.
No.
Well, no, I mean that's part about being out there.
I get it, but
you're gonna get poured on sometimes. Started pouring down rain. Lightning started going, and as soon as the first lightning crack went, I looked over at Burley. I'm like, we're getting off the water right now.
That's what I'm worried about.
Because you're in the middle of nothing, and you are the tallest thing on a multi-acre lake.
Yes.
So we got off the water as soon as we could, and we just kind of held a little bit to kind of see, like, because there was one spot when you go to your outfitter, you get your maps out, and they have these scale maps that have all the campsites on there, and you kind of talk them through, like, this is the path that we want to take and everything, and they'll tell you a little bit out each, because they do it more than we do.
Oh yeah,
I do all my research on something called paddleplanner.com.
Yeah, you mentioned this. Yeah.
But when we talk to them, we can find out like what's going on at this time of year.
Well, and it's different every day, right?
It's different every day. So we asked Amy was the person who was, I think she may be one of the people running that outfitter.
Okay.
She kind of told us some of the better camp spots.
Nice.
So those when we always tell her like out of 5, like Burley and I have a whole system that's a 5-star rating.
Okay.
Like, these are all the things to be a 5-star site. And she said like there was a bunch of 4 stars.
Okay.
So we're shooting for the 4-star. We were over on the side of the lake. We were waiting for it to stop raining. It didn't stop. We hadn't heard any lightning in a while. Got back in, started paddling out. Crack of lightning almost immediately. So we're like, okay, as soon as we get to our very next spot, we're just going to camp there.
Okay.
And the first thing, like all you can really do is you have to set up a tarp as soon as possible. So you can you just stop getting water dumped on you.
Right.
It was raining so hard. We just had to find spots that weren't puddles or mostly not puddles. And we had to build and by the way that the trees were there, you couldn't even stand all the way up straight underneath our tarp.
Okay.
It's like something. It's real rocky. You're
Well, yeah.
It's not
It makes
not everything
sense.
super straight. Sometimes you can't get high enough on this tree and low enough on this tree. So we had to like assemble our tents underneath this tarp, and then run outside real quick and set them up and put the tarp on top. Set it up real quick. Then we had to change like underneath this tarp. I got to like look away because Burley's changing right in front of me, and I got to like look away so I'm not looking at his junk. Because you got to like get out of your wet clothes as soon as you can.
Yeah, for like safety, for health, right?
For health, yeah. You got to get it. But like Burley has like way nicer stuff than I do. I didn't.
Way
I had
nicer
like,
junk.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
All I had was just like a pair of shorts and like a couple other things. I didn't have much to.
Okay, so he
Get
had more
dry.
like camping gear.
He had like way better gear.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you just kind of can't start a fire in it because all the wood's wet.
Yeah,
So you just got to go with like your camp stove, and we just we ate. And Burley and I, we love this stuff. Like,
hell yeah,
I think it's awesome. Being miserable and embracing the suck is what's awesome. But like, and Burley feels really bad for his dog though.
Okay. So here, that's a great question. How does? Because I know my dog, when it like thunders, she shits herself. Like she will like go to the corner of the room and like freak out. How is Boomer handling?
Boomer's the greatest dog, dude. He listens. He like, because you have to like pick him up and put him in the canoe. Like he'll go limp, so you can put him in the canoe. He runs around in the canoe. He lays down while we're paddling. Even in really rough waters, Boomer just sits. He chills. He's a great dog. He's an awesome dog.
Awesome.
And Burley he's got a ground pad and then a bed. So he puts the insulated pad down so he doesn't get too cold, and he has a sweater for him.
Oh, that's so nice.
So he's got a like
good dog dad.
Yeah, he is a good dog dad. You do as much as you can, but it's still it's a little chilly out there. It's probably in the I'd say like upper 40s, lower 50s at that time.
Okay,
So it's about 15 degrees cooler than it is here.
Okay.
And then you just kind of sit and try and get as dry as possible. And that was the very first night. You wake up in the morning. We waited a little bit longer to try and dry your clothes out a little bit. So you run a clothesline out.
Right.
Put all your gear on there. Let it dry out as much as you can. And when we're out there, we have a radio and we have a weather radio. You just try and listen to it to find out what the weather's going to sound like.
Is a weather radio different than a normal radio? Does it like just have like weather information? Like,
Yeah, it's just one guy who just reads the report, and it's read all day until it changes.
Oh no shit! Is it like a ham radio or something like that? So something like local and low key or?
No, it just goes to one station. It's geared to only that station, and we'll find out what the weather will be. And
But how like weather where?
in your local area.
Yeah, so if it's your local area, like how do they do it? It's not just like it can't just be like one guy for the whole country.
It's one guy for that area.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he reads it, and then
I'm super fascinated with ham radio people, by the way.
ham radio does sound really cool.
Yeah, like it's like literally if I had gotten into it at a younger age, I think I would have been more into this stuff. Like just talking to random people, like that always fascinated me. Like hijacking radio waves and like just playing around with like radio waves and communication and shit like that. So like the ham radio stuff is just fascinating.
That's like the first internet.
Well, yeah, and it's the thing that's going to be around when the internet goes down. If we ever get like an EMP or something like that, ham radio will still be functional. So
Is it?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, it's able to be like you'd have to repair it because an EMP would destroy a lot of shit. But if the internet goes down and mass communication does go down, ham radio is on its own free frequencies, so you can patch in and talk to other people and get communication through completely different frequencies.
I wonder if you build like a small Faraday cage, if that would like stop the frequencies from destroying something.
Theoretically, yes, from what I've read and seen in documentaries and shit, like that kind of shit fascinates the fuck out of me. So yeah, but with another communication another time.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by ham radio too.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where it went the way of the dodo, but it's always been kind of cool, and you get a license for it. You know the people who are in it.
They're preppers.
They're preppers, but they're almost always really, really cool. I don't know if I've ever met like a non-cool ham radio guy.
I don't think our ham radio guy is going to go the route of QAnon bullshit because, I mean, fuck, that's the worst thing I could possibly say. Yes, of course, people out there are going to be ham radio and the QAnon idiots, but it's also like, I think if you're taking that kind of time to connect with other human beings and like build your own ham radio, I know you can buy them, but everyone I've ever read about or watched do a ham radio thing is like they basically build their own shit. And to me, that's what's cool about it. It's like when people who like build their own cars from like scratch, that's fascinating. People who make their own wine, that's fascinating. I may not like it, but it's truly remarkable that people can do that.
People are like craftsmen like that.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I wonder if you can go to like American Science Surplus and just get everything you need to build a ham radio.
I'm actually, the last time I was there, I think they had a kit.
Yeah, but don't you need a license?
You need a license to do it. I don't think you need a license to build one though. I want to look into it. That's a different world from what I'm used to. That's not my thing. So I don't know.
Because like if you can you like dial into something? You can talk to somebody like in Russia.
Yeah, you can talk to people around the world. Yeah, I mean that's why it's so cool. It's basically the original Twitter. We have a couple comments real quick. Do you mind if I do it? Okay. Nick says Honda makes a nice SXS with heat and AC for $20,000. Recommend. I'm guessing that's like a UTV, the side by side that you were mentioning.
Yeah. How much did he say it was?
$20,000. The UTVs aren't cheap, man. Like my dad bought one. That's the one thing he wanted when he retired.
If it's something to do, because I remember when I moved to Colorado and thinking like, well, shit, I won't be able to do my paddling anymore. I need to get a new thing, which was a big reason why I wanted to get a Jeep because they had the Jeep trails there. It's a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I always wanted a Jeep in the mountains since I was a wee little lad.
Yeah, I remember.
But no, it's just a thing to do. So I mean, like $20,000 is, in the grand scheme of things, not a bad thing if you're really enjoying yourself.
If you're enjoying yourself, and that's my mindset is like, I'm never going to poo-poo someone for doing what they like. Like when my dad bought his, it was like 25 or 30, and I'm like, that's a fucking brand new car. And he's like, yeah, but I'm in this every day. I enjoy doing this every day. And like it just suddenly clicked. I was like, yeah, okay, I totally get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally get it. And you worked for your money. So like who am I to say what you should not spend it on?
Absolutely.
That's fucking horrible. Finding Ferrite says, weather radios can save your life. I have a couple. The one for my home has programmable alerts.
Yeah. Yeah, if you got like,
well, shit.
with the way how crazy things are. Remember all the this summer with all the tornadoes and shit that ran through the area? Hell, in Hawaii, if somebody would have had a radio, because it was a hurricane hit Hawaii, but nobody knew about it. That's why the fire was so bad.
How much do these run? Do you know?
I didn't think it was too much.
Because that's not a bad idea to have on hand. I mean, I have bolt clippers on hand, and I think I'd use a weather radio before I use my bolt clippers, which is actually not true.
Like what is the NOAA? NOAA? Everything for the weather is based off of the government's. It's a government agency that collects all the data to do the weather.
We actually have video. This is our third episode with video, by the way, but our first with live. So I'm looking up on Amazon NOAA radio. Oh, these aren't bad at all. These are like $35.
Yeah.
I'm sure the more expensive ones have better features, like Ferrite was saying. That's probably programmable alerts, which is actually really nice.
When people talk about how the government shouldn't be in charge of everything and everything should be privatized, the thing that they always talk about, NOAA is probably one of the greatest.
Yes.
One of the greatest things the U.S. government does.
I watched a documentary about this, about like how a lot of people are privatizing weather information,
and it's something that we've paid for already.
And it's something that's already been
we bought it already.
Yeah, it's like so
they're selling something that you've already paid for.
Yes. So like you can find all these weather informations, but the problem is like the interfaces, the GUI systems, the graphical user interface isn't as flashy or nice to play with when you're looking for weather stuff. So like the government sponsored stuff is just not good for unuser friendly. You know, it's like it's great information. It's free. It's just not pretty. It's basically the Linux to Windows. You know, like I'll pay for Windows because I like the GUI system. I like how it operates. But when Linux is free, you know, it's the same mentality. I can always get my weather from the government and stop paying for fucking weather information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway. And it's not just even like NOAA. Like there's a guy who works for NOAA who he just decided, I think it would be a good idea to know what particular types of shapes and what particular shapes do in certain currents. And he'll test things of like a object that is shaped like this will act this way in this part of the ocean. And that's the guy who figures out like if you're a person who's stranded, like a boat is gonna act differently in a current than a guy in a raft.
No shit.
Right? So this guy did
sense.
tests for decades. Like this guy has saved countless lives all over the planet because it's not just our country, it's other countries.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, the government's working great when you don't know that they're working.
Yeah.
And NOAA is one of the greatest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the book, The Fifth Risk, he does like a whole chapter on NOAA. It was the guy who wrote the Big Short and Moneyball and stuff like that. Yeah. He's like one of my favorite writers. He's so awesome. He did that book, so I highly recommend it to anybody out there. Hey, there's my camera.
That makes me so happy. I don't know why. Like you would be the one person I would watch like every episode of, no matter what you talked about. You know, like if you had like a history of the Civil War, like I would watch it. Like Ken Burns shit, I can't stomach for more than a couple episodes. But I would watch any of it.
I love Ken Burns.
No, I love the man. I love what he can do. I'm just so bored. Like if you've watched one of his programs, you've watched them all. They're all designed the exact same way.
Yeah, but it's consistent, and he packs in a shit ton of information in there.
Yeah.
And it's like real, a lot of first person,
which I
stuff,
love,
which is really amazing.
Yeah.
I think he's doing a whole thing on fascism now.
Chris says hi. Ah, that's
he's specifically
nice.
doing it because of Donald Trump. But he's doing a whole Ken Burns does fascism just to like remind people what fascism was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no shit. Okay, that's awesome.
I don't know. I think it's in the works or it just got released. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't look too much into it because that's bad podcasting. But I talk shit about Ken Burns, but I've watched most of his stuff. I didn't finish Jazz. I couldn't get into it.
Oof, Jazz.
And I got like 7 into baseball. And
baseball's good.
I
like baseball.
I stopped giving a shit.
Civil War, a lot of people did.
Civil War, I watched.
Vietnam was incredibly informative.
Was jaw-droppingly good.
Yeah. Did he do World War II? If he did World War II,
I don't know.
Yeah,
that doesn't ring a bell.
It doesn't ring a bell. Yeah, I like his stuff. Very thorough.
Yeah. Well, and then he brings in the emotional engagement with it, which is actually what keeps you engaged in it. Like me, you could tell me facts all day. I don't give a shit. I don't. I will lose fucking interest. But if you tell me a story, it's going to click. Something's going to trigger me to go, oh, that's why it's interesting. That's why I'm engaged with it. Like I'm reading a lot of marketing books. When I say reading, I'm listening to audiobooks. And they'll tell you all these stats, and I'm like, I don't fucking remember anything. Like none of it makes sense to me. But then they'll say like, well, let me tell you a story. And then in the story, I'm like, oh, that's how it all correlates. That's how it all comes together. That's how it's doing it. And like, then I'm like, I understand what you're talking about now.
Well, like when you're listening to audiobooks, I know Audible just recently did a thing where you can actually look at the PDFs that they're referencing inside of there. And often if a graph is done correctly, you just need to instantly just look at it to know what they're talking about. A good graph.
No, I'm not poo-pooing graphs. I love graphs, dude. I love data to support information. But I can't just look at a graph and go, cool. You know?
Well, based off of what's on there, like if you, like you said,
but
a small story plus the graph to actually back it up,
100%.
that is incredibly powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I do what I do, because I love the story. I
What do you?
I love
What
the flow.
are you reading and or listening to?
I'm reading or listening to. I just listened 3 times in a row brand storytelling, which I'm head over heels in love with, because basically the dude talks about anything you put out there, branding or marketing wise. All my shit's marketing. That's what's I'm trying to up my game on my job. And he's comparing advertising and commercialing, marketing to movies, and how you break a movie down into 7 distinct steps in the movie. You do that with marketing too, and not just marketing like
What are the
like
7
commercial.
distinct steps?
I can look them up for you, but
Does it have anything to do with the Joseph Campbell thing?
not really. Kinda. That's where I thought it was going when I first listened to it, but not really.
Is he pushing it on his metaphor of the 7 things? Can it be applied to every single movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not every single movie, because you can't take art house films into effect and things like that. But a basic Hollywood style movie, that introduces you to a protagonist. You follow their journey. The Joseph Campbell story circle. If that's the Hollywood film, But yeah, he keeps talking about Star Wars, and I'm like, oh yeah, I understand what you're talking about. Thank you for dumbing it down for me a little bit, and I really appreciate that.
One of the books that I read for my thesis was Architecture and Advertising, and the big reason I read that is just for if there's going to be kind of like the future of architecture and social media, you have to talk about how it's going to be paid for.
Of course.
And it was very interesting they talked about kind of how advertising has evolved. Very interesting.
Highly.
The history of advertising is very, very cool.
Yeah.
Where are we at now with advertising?
Right now, everything. I'm actually just finished another book called Marketing Now. And it's all about like everything, how you thought things were done marketing wise is out the window. Like if you say, hey, I have a mop, you should buy this mop. It's a very good mop. No one gives a shit, because we're being inundated with ads nonstop every day. You are seeing, I mentioned this the last time we were talking. It's either 300 or 3,000. Every person on average sees either 300 or 3,000. I don't know which one it is. Brands per day. And that's just like, I mean, right here, you're looking at
3,000 seems more.
WBC. Like 3,000 actually starts to sound more understanding when you actually look at what's in front of you. Mm-hmm. Now imagine leaving the house. Jesus Christ, dude. Everywhere you go, you see a fucking brand name. So imagine being that saturated, and then you see someone going, here's my mop. I don't fucking care. But if you, like, the big new thing is value. Like, what are you as the brand, as the company, wanting to sell me something? What are you doing for me without asking me to pay for anything? What are you giving me? Are you giving me knowledge? Are you giving me a joke? Are you telling me a story? Like that's why commercials have gone into funny stuff. That's why there's funny commercials, because it makes you remember the product, because it makes you go, oh, that made me laugh a little bit.
Bill Burr's advertising is the greatest advertising ever
for
that reason.
I don't know it.
He's just funny because he literally makes a joke about everything that comes across his desk. He reads it. He makes fun of the way they read it. He makes fun of himself because he can't read very well. Yeah. And he makes fun of every single product. And it's incredibly memorable.
And that's what it boils down to. If you can actually remember
MeUndies, no more sweaty balls, boop, 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 MeUndies. He does it all the time. Making fun of Sherry's Berries. Sherry's Berries dropped him.
You're talking about the sponsors.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hilarious. Super memorable. You know what I do when I hear other people?
Yeah.
Like they'll do the sponsor at the beginning, and they'll try and hide in the middle to make sure that you listen to it. When Bill Burr stumbles over reading things,
I love that shit.
And he hates doing it, but he knows that he has to because he wants to pay his bills.
Yeah, right.
And it's fucking hilarious. That to me feels like what the future of advertising should be.
And that's where it is. So like advertising went away from, like, we no longer play commercials on podcasts. We ask the podcaster to do a commercial for us, because like you and me, if like who would sponsor us? Like Sherry's Berries, right? Sherry's Berries, if they put a commercial in the middle of this, our listeners aren't going to give a shit
No, unless we can make it funny.
unless we have it in
make
our
fun
style.
of Sherry's Berries.
That's
they
it.
don't get it and they remove their advertising.
But I mean, that's the point, right? Like the point is to connect with the audience. So that's why advertising is going into a more micro, universal type of thing. You know, like you have your. I'm just going to leave this on the table if you want to read comments or anything. But like that's why you have the giant things like Nike and Coke and these monster companies, right? And they can do some fun stuff, but they can't do edgy shit. They're too ingrained, so they can't really. They can push cool new shit. They can do AR. They can do all this big new free activities. Like, what are you giving away for free? You're giving away all this stuff, but they can't push truly next level, like what's going to change the landscape kind of thing.
I don't know. I mean, those huge brands at Super Bowl seem like they're really kind of pushing the edge of.
But it never seems engaging enough.
I mean,
literally.
I haven't watched Super Bowl in a very long
dude,
time.
This last one, the 2023, what I did was the day after the Super Bowl, I collected every commercial that was played in our realm, and I watched them all.
Wait, they different commercials depending on where you are?
Yeah, different
Are you
regional.
serious?
Not the big ones. The big ones are what they are. But a small company is going to get in a regional area versus.
I didn't know that. I thought you were paying for. Okay.
No. So, but I mean, then again, you're not on the prime time. You're not in that sweet spot schedule. You know, you're getting that shit time when people are actually checking what else is going on other stations. But I watched every one. And it took me 4 hours. And
There's 4 hours of commercials?
Different regions, different shit. Yeah.
Oh, so okay.
Well, and it took me 4 hours because literally what I did was I would watch it and then I would talk to the camera about what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. So there's not 4 hours of commercials. So I watched all of them and I did a review. I got slammed because a bunch of them I had to take down because it's copyright material, even though I am changing the fucking thing anyway. I'm still kind of sore about that. I don't know where I was going with this. Oh, yeah. So the big ones, the big names, like, did someone just talk at us? Like, did a ghost say something?
No, there's a spider a couple inches away from my face.
Where? I'll save you, John.
Why is there a spider right by my face? Oh.
Why is there a spider in here at all? I'm sorry.
Charlotte's not happy now.
But I'll be the pig. So,
Okay.
Wilbur? Is that the pig's name?
Yes. Advertising.
So you got like the really big ones, right? The really big companies like Bush, Budweiser, Coke, like the really big movies that are coming out this year. They're all really fucking boring.
What makes them boring?
I mean, not boring as in like dumb, but like you have so much money to play with, right? But none of them have heart. None of them really hit home. None of them really connect well. And then you get like the smaller companies, like there was a like an online pet food ordering system for like pet medications, right? And I can't remember exactly what it was, but I watched it like 3 times in a row. I was like, holy shit, how is this so fucking good? It's so compelling and so like it wrenched my heart in 30 seconds. And I'm used to watching this stuff. You know, I'm used to seeing like, okay, well, this in 2 seconds, the music's going to come in because that's where they want you to sting the heartstrings. And it did. And it hit home so damn well. So it was really good. But like none of the big names did anything interesting. It was very like by the book, you know, like nothing really felt out of the box. And I think if the more we're thrown commercials and advertising and marketing at our faces, the more we have to think out of the box. We have to do something a little bit weirder because now you're just white noise in a crowd of white noise. If you're just trying to buy a mop, no one cares. But if you have a lady in a kitchen, I'm just pitching this off the top of my head, who like the announcer's like, using our mop will clean your thing. And she's like, I don't clean. No. And then he was like, you should clean your floors. She's like, no, I got stuff to do. If it was like that annoyingly, like, why aren't you? Like, there's a great commercial, and it was for a feminist group, and I forget the name, but it's 30 seconds long, and 20 seconds of it is dead silence. There's no sound whatsoever, and like that
sounds awful.
It does to a point. Because you know how you watch commercials and they're always louder than the programs and it's just blazingly annoying. But now imagine 20 seconds of silence. It's almost deafening. Like when you actually take sound away, it really, like 20 seconds is a long time.
5 seconds is a long time.
5 seconds is a long time.
Because that's the 5 seconds before a YouTube video. I think that's the only time I ever see the only time I see advertising is the first 5 seconds of something.
Which what I tell all my clients is don't advertise on YouTube, because if you're literally going to pay to advertise on a platform where people literally count down the seconds until they can skip your ad and not pay attention to you, why are you wasting your money?
There'll be if I see something that I want to see, like if it's a movie that I didn't know was coming out, I will watch it.
Will you?
I will. If it's the thing that I will watch the most will be movie
trailers.
Movie trailers. Especially if it's something like I didn't know about. Like I didn't know that there was going to be another Indiana Jones movie until I saw it on a trailer. I was like, whoa.
I'm very interested to see where we're going with that. So let's stop talking about me, because I still want to get back to your trip, because there's still epic amounts more story to be told.
I mean, I paddled. I didn't die.
No, don't give me that shit. There's so much stories in there.
I think like the biggest thing with this is how awfully fat that I've gotten and how difficult my trip was because of it. Like that was that. I think like of the whole trip, that was like the worst part. Yeah. Like I remember being like very sure-footed, and like the last time I went, I was 60 pounds lighter than I am now.
Oh shit!
Last year, I'm 60 pounds heavier than I was when I went last year.
Okay,
and like my body's. I'm getting old and I'm really, really fat, and it worries me a little bit.
Yeah, I understand.
Like, you don't want to get like if you're fat, like it locks in. Now you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think like this trip like really scared me and like really wanted to lose weight. And the worst part is when I got back, I fucking gained weight.
From the trip?
Yeah, I have no idea how that happened.
What the shit?
I don't know. I don't know how I gained weight on this trip.
How?
I don't know.
It couldn't have been the 12 s'mores per night.
I got fatter on this trip.
No. Okay, hold on. Playing devil's advocate, you and I both know very well that muscle weighs more than fat, so you can burn fat, and you were doing it for a week, homie.
Yeah, but you're not going to build a shit ton of muscle in a week.
But you could build a pound or two.
Can you?
Okay, you've been through basic training. You know how fast you shed the fat, but you're also building muscle in that time frame.
I lost muscle. I lost muscle and fat when I was in basic training.
Well, I know you lost fat. Like, dude, I remember I saw you at the end of basic training. Like you, holy shit, man. It was scary.
I look like Skeletor.
You were down. Yeah.
Yeah. I weighed 171.
Jesus.
After basic training.
I don't think I've ever seen you below like 85, 80. Because I remember like you were our 189 pounder. And you were always fighting to get that 189, and you shouldn't have been 189, man. I wish 215 was around before then. Like you would have mopped.
215 did exist.
No,
and Luis
halfway
got it
through
because Luis was the better wrestler.
You were better.
No, Luis was really, really good.
He was good. I wrestled him all the time.
You were
better.
Luis was a sectional wrestler. Like
you were
sectional.
You were great.
No, I wasn't.
You were. That shit
my
right
record,
there. That shit right there
my
got in your
record
head.
was not that great.
The record doesn't mean shit. You were in one of the hardest fucking weight classes in our conference, and
it wasn't for
dude,
ours.
89 was
I think
speed
like
and strength.
145
to
171.
52 was like the creme de la creme. Yes,
those were the really, really good. Like Charles Martelli and all those guys were.
Yeah. Heavyweight guys were tough in DuPage.
DuPage was just a really good.
Yeah.
I think it's good that that West Chicago got out of.
Oh, I'm
This is a long
so
time
happy
ago.
they did because it's just a fucking.
Oh, it was a slaughter. It was the
it's
worst.
just demoralizing.
It was so bad. Like, why am I going up against a school with 10,000 students?
Yeah, no, and that's stupid. I don't want to talk about it. But
know.
like
I was
literally
almost 30 years ago.
know that you were way better than you thought you were, but I think you got in your own head way too much.
I wasn't that great of a wrestler.
Yeah,
I think I was a better football player, but I wasn't big enough to play
You were a
football.
good football player.
I wasn't big
You
enough
also
to
didn't
like,
enjoy it though. There were times when I saw you enjoy it.
I don't know. Looking back on football,
I wish I wouldn't have done it. I mean, you
wish I
and
wouldn't
I
have
have
done
talked
it.
about this a lot, but you were really good.
yeah.
You were a great linebacker, dude.
The thing that
Great
I liked
pulling
the
guard,
most
too.
about wrestling or about football was I got picked on a lot when I was in like grade school and junior high, and I was now allowed to hit people that picked on me. And I remember like that. Do you remember in between like freshman or no, in between 8th grade and freshman? And it was over the summer, and if you wanted to play football, you had to do the 2 week whatever in between.
Yeah.
And I like remember it was always the skinnier kids that would pick on me. And I remember when we did the thing where you had a guy in front of you and the guy with the ball, and you were like, that guy's gonna run, he's gonna try to get past you.
I loved that.
And you can hit them as hard as you can and not get in trouble.
I loved that. Yeah.
And I did everything I could to take out like all of my anger. And I tried to just knock the snot out of people. I remember like Richie DeVito said like, "Why? How can you hit so hard?" And it's because I would rather hurt myself. I'm gonna hit you hard enough that it's gonna hurt me. And I never cared about my own safety. I wanted to hit you as hard as I could because I didn't like those people. They were assholes. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago, and I'm a
not
different
gonna
person.
I don't give a shit about that anymore. What are people saying, John?
Let's see. Let's see here. So, Chris Pez reads. Pez says, "Okay, so I have my AirPods in. Jay, your voice is in the right. John's on the left, opposite of what you are visually, and it's messing with my head." It's actually a really good point. Because that's something we can fix.
Not right now, but for future shows, yes. Literally, I just gotta unplug the two cables right there.
Let's see. The producer says, "I see you," which is helpful.
The producer.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings me back.
Let's see. Hit skip every time.
Is that a name?
No, that's what Pez said. Hit skip every time. What do we say?
That's probably for the advertisements.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hit skip every time.
Except for you, who
5
watches the
seconds.
movie trailer.
If it's a movie trailer and I want to watch it, or if it has like somebody in there that I like, or if it's a director that I know I like if they flash like I think like probably like the first time I ever watched Oppenheimer was on there.
Okay.
Like if I see like Christopher Nolan,
I have so much to talk about, by the way.
if I see Christopher Nolan, I'll watch it. Let's see here. Pez also says heavyweight was tough, except for me. I mean, I'm happy you wrestled.
I am so happy he wrestled. Dude.
Yeah.
I am like we've talked about that on the show before too. I was so happy that he came out.
Nick says, "I bet you could throw a football over that mountain." Ooh. Me and Uncle Rico. If back in '98 the coach would have put me in, we would have gone state. Nick also says, "Also, we're all dumber for the CTE we got." Was that the brain injury stuff?
I'm just gonna smile.
Exactly. I think I'm proving what he's saying. And then Pez says yes for the advertisement.
Yeah, good. By the way, I don't know if I talked about this before because my memory sucks.
Doesn't this thing flash when people type on here?
No, but okay, there is an option that you can do that, but like it requires programming, and I don't want to do it. So I'm literally trying to find the easiest way to do this. So I watched a movie called Terror Vision. Did I talk about this?
No.
Uncle Rico is in it, and he plays like a punk rocker from the 80s.
Is this young Uncle Rico?
Yeah. It is fucking awesome. It is so much fun. It's extremely tongue in cheek. Like the filmmakers knew they were making a schlock film, and it's so much fun. It also stars a. Do you remember Better Off Dead? Do you remember the French girl from Better Off Dead?
Yes.
Dude, okay, I had the biggest boner for her.
Me too.
I I remember trying to seek her out in other movies because I had such a giant like crush on her in the 80s. I remember seeing the movie for the first time and just going like, oh, she is the hottest thing ever. I need to watch every movie she's in, and I never saw anything else.
Is she French in real life?
No, she is not. So
Is she American?
Yes. And she
was
plays
a
the
really
teenage
good
daughter.
actress.
She was. I mean, dude,
Better Off Dead is very underrated. I love that movie.
It is so fucking good, and it holds up today. It is
100%
still
agree.
hilarious.
100% agree.
I wish they would make movies like this.
Like they have like the random thing of claymation. And he's just sitting there like singing and dancing. Everybody wants some.
I love the Asian drivers who only learned English from
only
watching.
talk like Howard Copesal.
Yeah, they learned English from watching racing videos.
Yes.
It is a great movie, and so that girl plays in TerraVision as the daughter character, and there's a bunch of other like faces in there that you'd know from other things. But it's a great movie. It's so much fun. It's alien comes down to Earth through television radio waves, television waves, and starts killing people inside of a house. It's gloriously fun.
I would watch that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like big names too.
It's a stupid amount of fun. I also watched the One Piece, the live action version of One Piece that came on Netflix last week. One Piece, for those of you who don't know, is a extremely popular manga and anime series. I think Dragon Ball had 500 or 600 episodes over its entire lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
One Piece, as of this week, is at 1,076 episodes.
That's a lot.
It's massive. It started in 98 or 99.
I have a hard time seeing anything that's been on that long being good.
Yeah, okay, so the animation is
Simpsons.
shit.
Simpsons is awful.
But the fans of it swear by it. Yeah. They're like, it just gets better and better and better, they say. I can't take the anime. The art style is one thing. I don't mind a bad art style if the animation is okay, but the animation is shit and I can't stomach it. It's made for kids. It's a kid show, okay? The live action show, it's like everyone involved with the series, and I was 100% anti it until I watched a review of it on YouTube.
Okay.
And I was like, I will give it a shot. I will give it one episode. Andy and I both watched it, and we immediately said, holy shit, we're going to watch the rest of this series this weekend.
Okay. I have a question for you
Please.
then. So the animation's shit and you don't like it. You think it's for little kids.
Yes.
But the story is amazing. I wonder if there's a Star Wars related thing that is just like this. And you're really missing out on stuff if you don't watch it.
Okay, before we jump into that, because I would love to have that conversation, One Piece is amazing. The live action version is amazing. I actually want to rewatch it like now because it's so rewatchable. The characters are so good and the story is super, super, super fun. And it is the only thing I have ever seen where they actually bring anime to life. It actually feels like the anime shots, like the camera work and the humor timing, and when the fighting actually gets big, it gets really big. So it feels like the world grows while you watch it. It's really fucking neat. It's really good, dude.
So are you ever going to watch Clone Wars or
Clone Wars
or
is
Rebels?
Good. Rebels, I want to. Clone Wars, it's really hard. I've watched it. Season 1, I've watched twice. And a scattering of the first couple episodes of season 2. I can't get into it. I'm so bored. And to me, it's not about the visuals. I don't give a shit about the visuals. I care about the story.
It's really good.
There's nothing about Clone Wars that attracts me. Nothing. I don't give a shit about the political landscape. I don't give a shit about who's winning or the enemies. Star Wars to me is 1,000% about lore. I want what's going on behind the scenes. I want
And that's
the
exactly
history.
what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I know it gets
So Clone
there.
Wars has an overarching story.
Yep.
That's essentially Ahsoka's story.
Yep.
But then in between that, there's so many one shots. It's almost like 1/3 one shots of like these just really neat little one-off stories about all different things. And it's cool because a lot of it is coming to fruition now. I mean, it's like 10 years.
Are
10 years in the
Are you
making?
watching Ahsoka right now?
Yeah, it's amazing. The last episode was amazing.
Okay. Which episode was amazing?
We can talk about it by now, right?
I'm 4 in.
The one where she just
What number?
5?
Okay, I have not seen 5.
I don't know. What was the last thing that you saw at the end? How did it end?
I'm trying to remember because I'm losing interest extremely fast.
Yeah, because you have no idea what's going on.
See, but it shouldn't revolve around that.
I know, but you got to remember
Because
this is stuff
I
that's
really
been out.
want to talk about this.
I know, but it's like stuff that's been out for 10 years that you've been stamping your foot about and saying,
No.
this isn't real, this isn't real, this isn't Star Wars.
I've never said that.
You have, because
No,
you'll say
I've said
stuff
I
like
don't like it.
Mandalorians are this, or Sith is this.
Yes, and I recant my story. Okay,
But, like, it's
I also
all
used to
rewritten
hate.
now.
I used to hate the Walking Dead TV show. I still do. It's a fucking piece of shit. But I hated episode 1 because it didn't follow the comic exactly. Okay, I think it was you who pretty much slapped me upside my head and said, "Fucker, now you can have a new Walking Dead. You can enjoy the comic and the show." And that's when I was like, "Oh shit, you're right." Okay, and then Wanted came out, and fuck Wanted because the movie fucking sucked.
Well,
Okay,
that's pretty bad.
but no, I am not poo-pooing it for not being exactly as is because I used to be canon first from the books. If it wasn't from the books, fuck you, because that's my Star Wars. I like having more stories. I love having new shit. I don't want to see the same recycled bullshit over and over. I've already read the comic. Why do I want to watch it in a movie? Change it up a little. Watchmen did it fucking phenomenally. So give me those little changes. I'm fine with that. I want that on the record. Please continue.
There are so many. There's a backbone that Dave Filoni has set in place for like 10 years.
All hail Dave Filoni.
All hail Dave Filoni. I really hope they hand him the reins.
I hope they don't.
He is.
I hope they don't. 100%.
Why not?
If he is handed the reins, that means he's in charge of everything, not the story anymore. He can put his information on the story. He's in charge of the framework of the fucking business, not the story, not the movies, not the show.
Look what Kathleen Kennedy has done to it.
And she fucked it up.
Exactly.
It's
like
not,
they need somebody who actually
not
knows what
just
they're
the
doing.
movies. Okay, do you remember when The Force Awakens came out and every goddamn thing in the grocery store had Star Wars on it? And before even seeing the movie, you're like, I don't care anymore. I don't care. It's so everywhere. I don't care about it anymore.
Well, everybody knows you can ruin the movie by finding out what the new toys coming out will be.
Well, yeah. But
and
that's one thing.
And it tells you all the characters already.
Of course it does. But like there's a lot more to it. And it's like she didn't like, yes, okay, the movies were boring because they didn't have a game plan. Okay? Filoni and Favreau, they like having game plans.
Yeah, and it pays.
It definitely
It's
does pay.
definitely paying
And that's
off
why
now.
DC fails so fucking hard. Sorry,
Yeah,
Pez.
DC has done pretty bad in the movies because
Yeah.
they keep throwing you into the middle of things, and
Because
it's like,
they want what Marvel has now. They don't want to put the 10 years of work into it to get to it.
what is the last thing that you saw?
Okay, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying. I mean, I can look up online and see like the synopsis for episode 4, and I'll
Yes,
tell you.
do it. And hopefully it doesn't ruin it for you. But what is happening right now is stuff that you and I talked about like 10 years ago, and I said, this is like one of the biggest things that I've ever seen in Star Wars, and I can't believe that they did this. I'm specifically talking about Mortis. You have to know about what happened on planet Mortis to know where Star Wars is going. I was totally shocked because it's like, it was what was supposed to be a one-off, but there was so many implications to Mortis 10 years ago. It was like something that happened like a second or third season of Rebels. And then they hit it again in, I'm sorry, not in Rebels, in in Clone Wars, and then they hit on it again in Rebels, and now they're hitting on it again, and it's like, holy shit! Like the implications are so freaking big. It changes everything, and it's not like a bad changes everything. It's like a, oh my god, there's this massive glue to all these things, and it's like Dave Filoni has figured out how to put a backbone not just on Clone Wars and Rebels and Ahsoka. He's figured out how to put a backbone on everything that's ever been done.
Okay.
What's the last thing that
Hold on. Pez wrote in.
Oh, let's see here.
No, Pez. I saw it out of the corner of my eye.
Let's see here. What are your thoughts on Trigun going from 45 Colt to 22? That's Nick. Nick wants to talk about guns because
I don't have a feeling about that. I
do
did.
you do anything with guns?
I watched the first 3 episodes of the new Trigun, and the 3D animation made my butt pucker. I can't do it.
Well, you're not talking about actual weapons?
Beast Stars is the only 3D anime that I'm actually
wow.
cool on.
You guys have out-nerded me. I thought he was talking about like...
I mean, he probably is. Trigun is the name of a show.
Going
Which
from 45
I never
to 22.
liked Trigun. I never really got it. It seemed very simple.
Next thing, as an anime guy that also...
You want me to read it?
Also
You want me to
knowledgeable
read
about
words?
gun guy stuff. Is that a proper character move or just bad choices by people that don't know better?
Oh, I will say this. The Japanese artists who deal with gun culture are way more knowledgeable than anyone here. I met this guy at an anime convention, and I asked him if I could take him shooting. Okay. And he said, well, I appreciate it, but 8 other people have already asked me to do this. And that's the guy who did Gunsmith Cats. I don't know if you ever saw
I've
that.
heard of it.
And his knowledge of guns, like, and the guy who did the Ghost in the Shell, Odo? Fuck, I'm forgetting his name. And the guy who does Trigun and a bunch of other people, like, they know guns epically more than we do because they're not allowed to have them. And imagine being so obsessive, compulsive about something and not being able to actually touch one. So you just read and read.
Wait a second. So you're talking about an incel guy with a Japanese anime girl?
That's it. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Is you just obsess about it. Like, I've seen people on fucking forums who know the part numbers of the screws to a random gun they've never seen or heard of before.
I don't get gun. Like I like guns, but like
Yeah.
I like them as a tool to protect yourself
Yes.
and overthrow the government if need be.
I don't. Yeah,
Like
I
against
don't
a
have,
tyrannical government.
Yes.
Or a tyrannical whatever.
What? Yeah, a whatever. I think
Yeah.
that's the more important part. Yes, for that aspect. And
like,
I grew up with it.
So I'm like fascinated with like like combat and suppressing fire and different things like that. That seems like way cooler to me. Like somebody who just obsesses about this has more grains than this one. It's like all right.
To them, that's awesome. And like,
I'm not poo-pooing it. I don't understand it.
I am not going to yuck someone's yum.
Yes.
If they find joy in it, fucking A, that's awesome. I can't talk to it. So you can call me a gun guy to a certain respect, but most of my gun guy aspects are because I was raised in a house where that's all there was to talk about.
There's a guy at work who's like, he's super into guns and he was showing me pictures.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
how cool they are.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, do you do tactical shoots or something cool? He's like, I've never fired it. I've never used it.
That's weird to me.
Like, I don't.
Because the tactical shoots are where I have fun. I love that
Seems like
shit.
that would be the most logical thing. Yeah, he likes the idea of being a tough guy. I assume.
I mean,
Like, look at this thing that I have
yeah.
that I could use, but it's like, do you know how to use it? Like, have you ever used it ever?
Because I would say there is a giant difference, and it took the tactical shoots to actually teach me that you don't know. Like, I've never been under fire. I don't know combat.
I've been under fire, but I didn't have a weapon at the time. I had to hide behind, which is why I'll say Heister forklifts. If you wanna sponsor us, a Heister forklift will stop lots of small arm fire. I love Heister forklifts to this day because it's all I could do was hide behind one.
John,
Yeah,
please do a quick commercial for Heister forklifts.
Heister stops a bullet for you, not them. I don't know what that means.
I'm gonna reach out to them and send them that.
You should. Let's see here.
That makes me so happy that that's what you remember about that. Like,
Heister forklifts.
it would be so easy to slip.
I remember leaving the building that had all the weapons in it because I wasn't issued one. I had to fly into the country with no weapon. I got into Iraq in a weird circumstance. You can't fly directly into a combat zone without having a weapon.
Okay.
But you can be in the AOR, which is like the area of responsibility or whatever the fuck I think it was AOR.
Okay.
Which is like a series of countries that were around Iraq. And so you can fly into those, like Saudi Arabia. You can fly into Saudi Arabia without a weapon. But you can fly from Saudi Arabia to Iraq without a weapon because there's those around you who have weapons, but you don't.
Why didn't they give you a weapon? That's
so
my question.
I never had one issued to me.
Get the fuck
from
out.
my local base. So I just never had a weapon. So the people I was fighting with in Iraq, they had weapons issued to them, but I never had one. And they stored them all in a weapons facility in like one of the bomb dumps. And I was going from that building to another building on the forklift. We were hauling munitions that we dug up that wasn't going to explode on forklifts to like put them in other places so we could blow them up later. And the Iraqis would set the fields on fire. And then when the firemen would go to put them out, they'd shoot at them, and they would do it like all kind of at the same time.
Okay.
And I was kind of a part of one of those because we were right on the edge of the bomb dump where they had really tall grass, and they lit the bomb dump on fire.
Oh my God.
So it was on
my
fire,
God.
and we were getting shot at. And I remember specifically saying, "We're getting shot." I stood there and just went, "We're getting shot at." And then Sergeant Scott had to say, "Get down, motherfucker." Yeah, you hear like the whizzes, and you just get down, and then just I don't know. I remember laughing. I just remember laughing. I thought it was fucking funny as hell.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we just kind of laughed about it, and then
got back to fucking work.
Got back to work. That was it. Let's see here. I watched a few episodes of One Piece.
Live action or anime?
Hold on.
Because
is that the one that I read already? Oh, no. I watched a few episodes of One Piece with someone who's watched the anime. Here, the story is better than the anime because they shortened it up.
Oh, they cut down a lot. Granted, from what I've read, I've watched a handful of the anime. It's fucking terrible, man. It's really regrettable.
Pez also writes, "What Flash was? No, you're right." I'm assuming he's talking about DC. By the way,
DC?
I did watch The Flash.
You told me.
I did. Did we talk about this already?
I don't know. Fuck it. Let's talk about it again.
Let's talk about it again.
Live.
It's live. We're going live. So I saw the version of Superman that nobody saw.
Yeah, Nick Cage.
The Nick Cage Superman. I was like, holy shit. I was very shocked by that. That what's the guy's name? Ezra Miller?
Oh yeah. Ezra. Yeah.
Is that what? He is so fucking annoying. Is that what Flash is? He's that annoying in the comics?
I would love to have a DC person on here. We can talk about it. But I will say this. That movie was so bad. Not only like it was just terrible. Everyone's talking about like the CGI and shit. Like I don't give a shit about that.
I like Michael Keaton.
I loved Michael Keaton. But Barry Allen is a fucking asshole. In that movie, he is a giant.
Yeah.
Like he is written so inconsistently.
He's such an awful person.
The beginning, it's like it's obvious he has like Asperger's. It's obvious.
Does he has Asperger's in the comics?
No, I don't think so. But like in the movie, it's so obvious either he has Asperger's.
Well, Pez just wrote nope.
Thank you.
It's awful. He's such a bad character.
What's the other thing that I'm forgetting? I'm
autistic.
Autistic. That's the word. Thank you. It's so obvious that in the beginning scenes that he's autistic, and then he'll move on to the next scene. It's like, well, wait. Where's the
Pez
autism?
Says, this is not the Flash at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was written so badly, and like the falling scene in the beginning where he's like catching all the babies. Wow, fuck that guy. I'm sorry, just fuck him. He is the worst human being. And if that is my introduction to a beloved character, They fucked up.
He says the Flash is nerdy in a completely different way.
I'd like that.
Yeah, they just make him out to be an incredibly arrogant
and inept.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you see what's going to happen. Anyone with a lick of fucking common sense can see what's going to happen by making these poor decisions. Stop. You might not have a movie. It's okay. You're a better character. And you should write a better movie for that better character. It was popcorn trash.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I really have no urge to watch DC anything.
Unless they come out with a Lobo.
What is it? I did like the TV show that you showed me. I like that from DC.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker
and
I liked.
Doom Patrol.
Haven't seen Doom Patrol.
I love me some Doom Patrol. It's very much in the same vein.
I did not like the first Suicide Squad, but I actually didn't mind the second Suicide Squad.
The second one was great, but that's James Gunn. Anything James Gunn puts his dick stamp on, it's amazing. One of his earliest films is called The Specials. It is It is on my top 20 list for a reason.
That?
Yes.
I love The Specials.
Yes. It's a great movie.
It is.
And like he is an amazing storyteller because he understands character. He understands why we want to watch something.
Yeah, it's Pez said what did he say? DC makes me sad now. I really hope James Gunn fixes it.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing: is they put James Gunn because he finished his contract with Marvel. He did Guardians 3, which by the way was really fucking good, and he's working as the head of DC movie. He's like the Kevin Feige of Marvel for DC. So if that's the case, I will give them a chance.
Okay. Pez says that is Impulse, his grandson. I don't know enough about DC. That is Impulse, his grandson. Nick Prey says Doom Patrol. Pez says
It's a good show. It's
Titans
a great show.
was good.
I couldn't get into it, but I tried to.
Nick says Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser plays the lead character, or one of the lead characters in Doom Patrol. Oh, amazing.
Huh.
And you never see his face, by the way, except for flashbacks. He's mostly in like a caged head, like a helmet the entire time, because he's not a human anymore.
Is this new or old Brendan Fraser?
Oh, no, it's new Brendan Fraser. It's fat Brendan Fraser.
Fat Brendan Fraser?
Yeah.
Did you see The Whale?
Yeah.
Fat people don't move like that.
That movie sucks.
I think I'm fatter
sorry.
than the whale.
I'm sorry. No, you're not.
No,
you're
I'm
not.
pretty sure. I think weight-wise, I think I'm actually
not.
bigger than the whale.
No. I'm sorry. That movie was a joke. I was laughing.
It was really, really
than,
bad.
Like, and Darren Aronofsky did it, and that's shook me.
Yeah, me too.
Every time.
Why did he like Brendan Fraser? Like
the sound effects.
He acted as good as he could with what was given to him.
Okay, here I'll
He
give it
acted his ass off in something awful.
The acting. Here's the thing: is his acting was so good. He was great. Everything around him didn't try. The sound effects alone, I kind of want to like go back and re-edit it a little bit and just amp up the sound effects just a little bit, where it's going to become comical. It's going to become like a Looney Tunes episode. Because the sound effects alone were funny. I kept listening.
He's making from trying to move around?
No, just everything in the whole fucking movie. Like every sound effect was like a little too loud. Where if you can stop in a movie and go, hey, I know that sound effect. Like the door creak or something like that. Like there's a door creak in every fucking movie. Or the Wilhelm scream, right? As soon as you can know, I know that sound effect, you've taken me out of the story. And their sound effects were all like these like...
It was like a package
Warner
of all
Brother
like
package. Yeah, exactly. And they just were a little too loud. So like the movie was comical to me and I didn't want to laugh, but I kept stifling a laugh through the whole thing.
You know, I think, is it... Okay, so if I would have watched that in a movie theater, right?
I thought about this.
And other people would cry, am I allowed to laugh?
I don't
Am I allowed to laugh because I'm fat? I'll be like, I'm fatter than him. He's one of my people. I can use that as my word.
You don't get to laugh at him. I get to laugh at him.
You don't get to laugh. I'm the fat one, not you. You don't speak for me.
So speaking of the whale, I watched a Godzilla movie this weekend that I've never seen.
Did you?
Andy is going down this spiritual journey of wanting to watch all the Godzilla films.
In order?
No, because we started that way. We watched the first two.
Oh, I think it would be great to do it
Oh
that
my
way.
God, dude, the first one is remarkably good.
The first Godzilla?
Yeah, 1954, Gojira. We watched the Japanese one, and then we didn't watch the American one yet because when it came to America, they cut out 40 minutes of the movie and added in extra 20 or 30 that have nothing to do with the plot whatsoever. So like the film is really good. It's kind of shocking because like you're expecting just a big monster movie, and literally the entire movie is this like inner turmoil film where it's like, we should not have fucked with the earth. We should not have dropped the bomb, woke him up and fed him energy and pissed him off. And we should not be at war. It's an anti-war film. Like that's what it boils down to. It's an anti-war and introspective. Like, what did we fuck up?
Is it the Japanese or is it Americans?
Oh no. It's Japanese.
But they didn't drop the bomb.
No. America dropped the bomb, and then that ignited Godzilla to be born from a dinosaur, to be fueled and mutated into what he became.
So he's a mutated dinosaur?
Basically, yeah. And the movie holds up excellently, right? It's basically like man versus nature, and then man versus himself, which is fucking great. And then part two is like, let's have him fight another dinosaur. And it's just, it loses all. But so we watched the American version of part two.
Just to get this out of the way.
Yeah.
Because
of course,
they wrote in.
No, hey, you write in, you take precedence.
Yeah. Pez says the newest Superman and Lois show was amazing in CW. It's beautiful.
I've been hearing this. This and the cartoon are supposed to be really
He said,
good.
Also, My Adventures with Superman is an Adult Swim show.
That's it.
It's a Superman anime.
Yeah.
Which does sound kind of neat. And also says, my impulse command made sense if you read the comment above it. Impulse command.
Oh, why didn't you read the comment above it, John?
The Flash is nerdy in a completely different way.
Yes.
That is Impulse, his grandson.
Oh, so
that is not the Flash at all.
Gotcha. So the movie version is Impulse, which I'm guessing Impulse is the shitty version of the Flash. Is that what you mean? Let's stop and wait.
I know we gotta wait.
Minute
We gotta wait 2 minutes.
I actually think.
So why did they do a show about? Why is it called The Flash and it's not The Flash? It's Impulse.
They don't give a shit. They just want people in. They want to do the jokes that make everyone giggle and laugh and buy more things.
Look, he's Gen Z. He's so weird, like you. We don't know. We're baby boomers. Everybody loves us. I'm gonna just wait around for Pez though.
We might as well, because this is podcasting.
I do. I wanna get back to Godzilla.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the first Godzilla movie you saw?
The first ever?
Yeah, I saw 1986 was the first one I ever watched.
You remember the year?
No, I think it was called Godzilla 1986.
Oh, 1985.
Godzilla 1985. Mm-hmm. You're right. He said, no, it's not, but it's like him.
Oh, fair enough. Thanks, technology.
Thank you, technology. 2 minutes late, technology. I think that Pez should be in the room and do one of these podcasts.
Oh, I would love that.
We need to get
like a perspective.
It says they took the characteristics and changed them.
Oh,
so like they did their own.
What's the name of the forklift that you love?
Heister.
Heister. Thank you, Heister, for all that you do.
And all the bullets you stop. Bling.
So we watched the part 2 of Godzilla. It's called Godzilla Rides Again. And we watched the American one. And immediately we're turned the fuck off. There's no story. There's no characters. It's just like, oh, we're going to go get Godzilla and he's awake and then we're going to kill him. It's like,
Did they have the little boy or the little girl go,
no,
Godzilla?
Actually, that shit didn't start happening until later. I've been doing research on Godzilla, John.
Yeah? Look at you.
So Godzilla 2, there is a boy in it, but of the American one, he's cut out. And they cut out like 30 fucking minutes of the original plot. So we watched the entire American version and we're like, this was really boring. Like, why was it so bad? And then we were just day dicking around because what I did is I have all the original Japanese Godzilla movies and I have all the English versions, which a lot of the English versions, especially in the early days, reshot stuff because white people don't want to see Asians on the movie screen. So they want more white people in it.
Racist people.
Yeah, very. So
why are you making things that are good?
So
we made those movies.
So yeah, exactly. So I wanted to like just see what the voices were like because all the voices were dubbed in English and it was like, oh, this is not good. So I wanted to see like, oh, were they actually translating the correct words or were they making stuff up for the film? And so we started watching the Japanese one and we're like, wait a minute, there's like a whole other plot at the beginning of the movie. And it kept going and we're like, is this the same movie? And then parts of the movie came in that we knew and we're like, oh, this is a whole different movie. Like it's a whole different plot. And it's remarkable. It's actually pretty good. The monster fight is corny as shit, but you also got to remember it was like 1959. You know, my dad was a teenager. Like it's kind of like cementing the fucking time period.
Would your dad have watched it?
No.
Just so you know, Nick says yes.
That's it. Thank you, Nick. And
then he said Pez in room. So he says yes.
I agree.
Pez in room.
I agree.
Pez says I would for sure be in it. And Nick says less delay. Also, he can read good.
Oh.
And Pez says I would be in it for sure.
Nice.
So yeah, you should be. You piece of shit. You're
Yep,
supposed to sit
Pez.
here. You're supposed to sit right there.
Sit right here. We'll have a third camp. Oh God, what? Everything's falling.
Yeah.
And then we jumped ahead because there's 3 different eras of Godzilla movies. It was called the Heisei era, the Showa era, and then the Millennium era.
Is this by who played Godzilla?
It's by who was the emperor of Japan.
No shit.
Because like the era of time period in Japan is by like what the government is, like who is running the...
And the emperor was the government?
Basically. And they're just a showhead ever since World War II. But anyway, or figurehead. So the Heisei era is basically nothing but dog shit. It is
That's
like...
the original one?
Oh, no, except for the first one. It just went way off course and they started making like really bad movies and we can't watch them, man. They're really dumb. They're really bad. So we jumped ahead to the Showa area and the Showa basically says, hey, the first Godzilla happened. Nothing after that happened. We're going to start fresh after the first one because the first one is still good.
Okay.
So we watched Godzilla versus... actually, the one we watched was the very end of the Showa period, right before the Millennium period. And the Showa, it was Godzilla versus Megaguirus, which is basically like cockroach locusts. And they all formed to make one giant monster.
I don't remember a bug monster.
Yeah. There's a lot of monsters, man. There's a ton.
Did you play any of the video game, like the Nintendo? The Nintendo one was cool.
No,
where you had to like
disagree.
Dude, that was so cool because you had to fight on all the different boards, and you had to like it was essentially
it was chess.
Yeah, it was like chess.
I need to replay this because I remember as a kid, I wanted a
this
fighting game.
This is my memory of what it was. Like you had to like fight. You had to like fight all these worlds and essentially just take over. I thought it was kind of neat. Or is that? Hold on, man. That might have been a Super Nintendo one.
Oh, okay.
It might have been the Super Nintendo one.
I had the Nintendo one. It was not good. I heard the Super Nintendo one was actually fun.
It might be the Super Nintendo one because it had like all these hexagons and you had to fight on the different blocks.
That's the Nintendo one.
But maybe that's how I remember it.
But basically, it was like you had to move. You could only move one at a time. And then when you got to the world, you just walked through a level real slow as Godzilla.
You had to fight. And you could only... but I remember like you couldn't shoot the Brave Blast all the time.
Nope. Like almost never.
You got like twice.
Yeah.
Up.
And it was like the fighting was like... Burcha.
That's how he fought.
Burcha. Bullshit. He stands up on his tail and he flies through the air. Oh, that's the Heisei period. Anyway, yeah, so I watched a Godzilla movie, and then I finished up my night after Godzilla versus Megaguirus with Barbie.
So what'd you think of Barbie?
It was fucking awesome.
Were you expecting something that deep?
I was not expecting to be that good. I was not expecting the editing to be that good or the fucking blocking or the direction. It's a really good movie.
I keep seeing things online of like all of this hidden shit in there. Like every single outfit and everything that everybody was wearing, like everything was tied to something. Like there was
I love that.
whoever did all of the costume.
Yep.
I bet they'll probably win for costume. For that.
And here's where my thing is, because I'm going to fight that. I really hope One Piece, I know One Piece is a TV show. It's not a movie. It's a different award system. But Barbie can win for costuming for Academy, but One Piece better win for costuming and set design. Art direction as a whole.
One Piece is like a film or is it a TV show?
The TV show, the one I was talking to you about.
So
the
you're talking
adaptation.
about Grammys?
Yeah, no, Emmys. They better fucking win. Like the amount of world building that went into that show is jaw dropping. But Barbie was so good. I was like laughing. I was engaged. I was fucking cheering. I was excited. It was outstanding. It was super fun. Super fun.
Yeah. I thought it was really, really good.
I'm a little pissed.
I don't get the people who get upset.
Yeah. Yes. That's where I wanted to go. I'm a little pissed about the people who are complaining about it because I don't see any of the complaints. I don't.
Everything, like every kind of like if you see them talking about stuff, like you being upset is kind of proving their complaints or like the way that they see it. You're kind of proving them right, or a person who would be upset.
Yes. I hear a lot online about it's an anti-man movie, and it's like, no,
It's a thing about Barbie.
very much not. It's very much not anti anything. It's
incredibly existential.
yeah.
Incredibly existential. It's there is something called object-oriented ontology, which is a
Educate us, John.
object-oriented
Brought to you by
ontology.
Heischer.
Brought to you by Heister.
Heister.
Don't stop time, stop bullets with Heister. I don't know what that meant either, but
I love it. I love it.
the object-oriented ontology is something that is being used in a lot of design schools, not just architecture, but other things where it is very non-human centric. It is a way of designing things and looking at the world where humans are not the center of everything.
Yeah.
But objects can be like this. If you design something and say like this has wants and needs, is it kind of like
You personify it.
Yeah. Or is personify the
Personification is the term of making human elements into
anthropomorphizing.
anthropomorphizing. Thank you.
So the thing is you're giving it if you're anthropomorphizing it, you're giving it human traits.
Correct.
But you're not giving it human traits, it's the traits that this would want.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's being used in law because there are places where a river could sue somebody.
Like Colorado.
Like where I think it was in Australia. A river in Australia was able to effectively sue a company for polluting it.
How does a river talk, John? Through its mouth.
Ha damn.
All right, anyway. Sorry. Brought to you by Heister.
Lifting you up when you're down. And by down, I mean getting shot at. Yes! But yeah, so with object-oriented ontology, like if you look at Barbie as an actual figure, an idea with wants and needs,
which is what the
movie's about.
Yeah.
It is a very if I were to show a class of what object-oriented ontology is and how this is how you should possibly see the world when you're designing a building, Like, does a building want something that's from other parts of the world? Like, what's the most effective way to do this? And it's got to be
TVs with horses. Yeah.
TVs with horses. And being able to have a more sustainable design is by, like if it was a person and it wanted to have things that create it. I don't know. It's a weird way to look at the world.
Yeah.
But it probably would make the world a little bit more resilient as far as, nature and everything. But anyway, yeah.
That's where I was thinking of going with it, yeah.
So yeah, and on top of that, incredibly meta-modern.
Well, it makes sense.
Which is really where we're like getting, I think we're really starting to go into the meta-modern era. And this is, as far as films go, like, so you and I talked before, not on a podcast, but in other things. You can see where the Wachowski sisters wanted to make the fourth Matrix a meta-modern movie.
Yes.
And it was incredibly ham-fisted and very poorly done. They did it in a way that was like somebody who didn't really understand metamodernism, and it was a very postmodern look at it.
Yes.
And I would argue that The Matrix would be kind of like a high watermark for postmodernism.
Yes.
So I didn't think it was a very effective thing, but when you see it like up against Barbie, it's like, like you can see where one is. It's like,
now, can you do Barbie in a serious tone? Because Barbie is very comedic.
I thought that they did.
Oh no!
I definitely they really.
It hit home. It was freaking great. It was really good. But can you do Barbie in a Matrix-like style? Like take out the action. I don't give a shit about the action, but in a serious tonality of expressing these beliefs and ideologies and theories and thoughts, can you do all that in a drastically dramatic tone?
If you would have made Barbie the film in the 90s, so several podcasts ago you said, I want to see a movie that's actually not guy-centric, where they're talking about guys and it's, why aren't guys like this? Why do guys not give me a... Yeah. So if Barbie was done in the 90s, it would have been very much like that.
Okay.
But when I told you, like, watch the movie, because I think they were very successful.
Yeah.
And I think that they were. It was a completely... They never referenced any of that. It was just... It was Barbie, the idea...
Which I love.
Living out the idea and its ideals. And it was very, I think, really empowering for women or little girls. So. I think more importantly for little girls. If I had a daughter, I would want her to watch that
heavily.
Movie. And I think somebody who played with Barbies and like, because it wasn't like talking down to them.
No, I don't think it was at all.
So I don't know. It was just really neat. And this is as a guy who didn't play with Barbies, I think that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I did the one part where Ken was like mansplaining everything.
Yeah.
I remember looking over at my wife and I was like, God damn.
Yeah, I know. It was
me.
It was very
self-reflective. As a matter of fact, me doing all of this is like really like, yeah.
It was self-reflective.
But there's no girls that watch this, so I'm okay doing that. I don't feel so bad. Okay, let's see.
The irony was our last podcast had like more female listeners than males.
How do you know?
Because they would write in.
Last podcast?
The
other. I smell what you're stepping in. Nick writes in and says, less delay. Oh, no, we already read that one. I would love to be on it for sure. Nick says, I'm concerned about how much screen time Jay gets in a day. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay.
You do know it's like my job.
Yeah. Are you sorry that Jay is doing his job?
I think I do watch a lot, but I also work a lot, and then that time shifts too. And there was also a good month that I didn't watch shit, and I was just working nonstop. So yes, when I get time off, I don't go out and do things.
Which leads us into the next thing. Finding Fairite says, I agree, Nick. Let's get him a large air-conditioned cloak so he can go outside more.
Nah, I'm totally good. I mow the lawn. That's enough for me.
Mowing the lawn is the extent of your outdoor activity.
Yeah.
So when do you officially start going outdoors?
Pretty soon. I mean, I go out throughout summer. I garden a lot.
Do you do anything in the fall? Do you like get pumpkins and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, dude, This is my time of year. I love the fall. I love the fall and winter, like late fall, like late October going into winter, and I love winter. I will go outside every fucking day in winter. I fucking love it. But every year, I want to do something for my front yard for Halloween. Like my goal for Halloween is to traumatize a child and make my neighbors upset with me. Like not in a bad way, just make them go, ew. Like I want that feeling. I love that. You know, that's why I got into making movies to begin with, is because I wanted to switch people's emotions. I wanted to like just make them feel something that they weren't feeling before. And I think horror is like such an easy, fun way to do that with. And I had this kind of game plan that I wanted to do this year, and my workload for I was pointing at my calendar and my phone for some reason, but like every day of October is booked. So I don't get to play with my Halloween yard this year. I'm a little bummed.
At all?
I mean, I'm going to do something a little bit, but like I like building stuff. I wanted to do you've seen Return of the Living Dead, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to do a tar man. And I had it kind of mapped out how I was going to do it. Was I was going to get a barrel, and then slowly over the course of the month, you know, have the monster coming out of it and just hanging out. So when people would walk by, they'd be like, "Oh, look, there's the monster." And then I would be the monster inside the barrel on the night of Halloween. So when they would come up to the door, I'd be behind them.
I see your legs falling asleep in that barrel.
Oh, hardcore. Yeah, I'm not saying the whole night, but I'm saying a couple hours. It'd be fun. Dude, it's so worth it to scare kids because like they're in good fun. Like it is the one time of year where you get to be gross and horrible and all this stuff, and everyone is just in this communion mindset of that was fun.
I have found that if you open the door wearing a scary thing really quickly and yell, you're going to scare kids. So, especially some of your size.
Yeah.
You just go, "Rah!"
What I did last year was I crept from the shadows and I wouldn't talk. They'd be like, "Oh, trick or treat," and I would just like cock my head. I had like a long plague mask, and I was dressed all in black with like chains and shit like that. And then I would just like cock my head at them and stare at them. They're like, "Trick or treat," and I would just like I tried to like mimic their voice back at them, like "Trick or treat." And like the older kids were the ones who were like freaked out. The little girls were the ones who were laughing their fucking asses off. And I loved every second of it. Seeing their older brothers all creeped out. And the little girls were like, "Oh, you got Kit Kats."
You should have something where your head is gone and your head could be in your chest.
I've seen that. I want something upsetting though. I want something that makes you go like, "Ugh."
Well, you got to have the stump squirt out blood.
Yeah.
I think that would probably.
The problem
do it.
is it's dark, and you can't really see that good. So
Did you light up your porch really well?
The problem is I want it dark, so when you come up there, you can't see everything.
Yeah, but if you want them to see everything,
I also don't want to spurt blood on my house. Amateur.
I thought that you were going to be into this.
Yeah.
You got to jump in with both feet, good sir.
You know, jumping into both feet, just like heisters, forklifts, jumping in with both feet.
You definitely have feet with heister.
You'll still have feet to this day with a heister.
Oh, was that a jab against veterans with no legs?
No, that was absolutely not one. But if they had a heister, would they have their legs?
There we go.
Jesus Christ, yeah. I am sorry.
That one got really stumpy really quick. All right.
So, like, you do shit for Halloween. You like Halloween.
I do. Heather and I like dressing up as like pair of things.
Yeah, you do the couples thing.
Last year I was Donkey Kong and she was like a female Mario, which I thought was super, super awesome.
I love gender bending.
I think we were Rex Kwon Do and and what the hell's the girl's name? Rex Kwon Do. I don't know. We were gonna do Elvis and Priscilla. I was gonna be Fat Elvis, of course. I'm probably too fat to actually wear the costume that I spent a lot of money on, which makes me really upset. We'll have to do that next year.
Next year.
This year, though, We tried to do it last year, but we couldn't get the costume in time. And I think we're trying to do it this year. I'm going to be Andre the Giant, and she's going to be Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that one's going to work out.
That's
pretty
fun.
Well.
Yeah,
because my wife
be a
is
good
tiny.
Hulk.
She's a tiny little person, and I could easily be Andre the Giant compared to her.
Anybody want a peanut?
Yeah. She doesn't like that movie.
Who the fuck doesn't like? My wife doesn't either. Actually, they should start a club.
I don't like the obviously best movie ever made in the 80s.
Yeah.
Is it, so why? I have found that I think a lot of boys like that movie.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that. I think when did she watch it?
She was in her 30s, her late 30s.
There it is. My wife didn't watch it until I started dating her, and I was like, "Hey, have you ever seen this?" Because that's my litmus test for anyone I ever meet. I'm like, "What movies have you watched?" And then I remember we were dating for a month, and I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna make you the 200 movie list." It was 3 pages of movies, and she watched Princess Bride, and I'm just sitting there love every second.
Love every second.
And she's like, I don't get it. This is dumb.
I feel so sad that you couldn't watch that as a kid. Because it was one of the funnest movies as a kid.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I don't know. But she made me watch what's the Breakfast Club. I didn't watch Breakfast Club until I was in my late 30s.
What?
Yeah, I didn't watch it until my late 30s. It might have been my 40s. Yeah, I think it was for her. It might have been for her 40th birthday. I watched Breakfast Club.
Out.
I fucking hated it. I knew I was going to hate it that much. I hated it. It was the worst. So I remember being in high school. I somehow didn't watch it when I was younger.
How?
Right?
It was on Channel 9 every day.
Never watched it. I had never seen it. I knew of it. I knew there was parts of things that I had watched, but never watched it at all.
This is
There's lots of
blazing my
things.
mind right now.
I never watched it, but I remember in high school people all talking about it and wanting to watch it. And I kind of said so what is it about? And they were like, it was these kids that they're in detention, they're having problems. And I vividly remember saying, I'm in high school listening to people complain. I don't want to watch a movie about it. And I just never watched it.
Wow.
And in my 40s, I watched it, and it is exactly what that is. Just whiny kids complaining. And I didn't want to fucking watch it.
That is
the
shocking
worst.
to me.
It was the worst. The acting was... You know who the best person in the whole movie was?
Bender.
The principal. He's the best guy. The principal was the best guy.
Oh, shit.
No, it is the children that are wrong. It's Mr. Skinner.
So we were just talking the other day, and Andy and I were talking. We like to have shows on in the background while we do house cleaning and stuff like that. And we go through different shows, but we go through the same 5 shows over and over. Office, Parks and Rec, Community, and South Park. Mm-hmm. And we're watching South Park, and we're in episode season 20 something, and we're both kind of looking at each other, and we're thinking when we were kids, we really identified with Stan and Kyle and Kenny and Cartman to some degree. But now as an adult, I identify with Randy.
I think they did a change on Randy. They did the same.
He did in season 6 or 7.
They did a Homer Simpson to Randy.
Yes.
They just made him a doofus.
But the kids are basically the same from season 1 all the way on. They're basically the same. They get smarter. They become more cynical. But they're basically the same characters. So as I age up, I'm I don't get why you would want a new video game system. Why? Maybe save your money for something else. And then Randy says something, and I'm like, well, that makes a little more sense. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So it's funny how we identify with what we're watching at what age in life. So it's remarkable that you've never seen Breakfast Club, but I kind of want to do a test on you to see how you identified with what aspects of the movie, because you're identifying with the principal.
I think the principal is the coolest guy.
Who we saw
funny.
as the enemy.
I was like, the principal is the only one who knows what the fuck is going on. And he was right.
Well, and
everybody was a dumbass.
The custodian. The janitor was cool as shit. because he sided with the kids, but he knew what was going on. He was the eyes and ears of the school. He read all their notes. Like, he was a cool guy, but he's a fucking janitor who...
I don't even remember the janitor.
Oh my God, he was a cool... I remember him as a character being like, I want to befriend the janitor. And I did in college, in Buzz.
I remember Buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I didn't
We had
throw
a
away.
beer with him.
I never had a beer with him. You did.
I didn't drink the beer, but I sat in the room with me and Dean as they drank beer, and I had a drink of Gatorade or something.
I kept every single orange juice bottle my entire for an entire semester and threw them all away at one time. And there was like 8 garbage bags. I don't know. There was like 8 garbage bags of glass bottles that Buzz was throwing away. I just remember him yelling and screaming. And the girl I was with at the time, her and I looked at each other like, oh my God, is Buzz throwing away everything at one time? And I felt so bad. I felt so incredibly bad. Very embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing.
I used to keep all my Gatorade bottles as pee bottles, which I wish I would still do. But I don't drink Gatorade anymore, so.
Nick writes in, why are 80s movies so good? Is that a bias I have because childhood?
Yes.
Or were they just better?
No, they are 100% biased. There are some great 80s movies, and 80s movies was the boom. We talked about it before of, hey, we need content. It's basically the social media of what we're doing now. Back in the 80s is video stores needed tons and tons of content. And while you got a metric shit ton of garbage, you got some awesome gems in there too of people who are trying new things. Like, think about Tron. You know, Tron was so out of its depth. Like, not the technology, that doesn't mean anything to me, but like what they were trying to say in the movie, like what the movie was about. I thought that was fucking cool. Movies like Breakfast Club.
It was a lot of very original ideas.
It was a lot of very original ideas and a lot of not original. But I think you also got the formula, the movie formula. The movie formula was down packed by then.
So, well, I mean, the movie formula has probably been around for 12,000 years.
No, it has. But you want to go rewatch a bunch of 50s movies?
Some are good.
Some are.
Yeah, but they're not that
There's
great.
a lot of shit out there.
Well, I think a lot of that had to do with technology. I think the way that they delivered lines because the speakers or the microphones made the actors have to act in a very specific way.
People are also coming out of vaudeville and silent era, so people weren't used to talking.
Their microphones were... You had to yell for their microphones.
Yeah, not
they were
always.
The worst. Yeah, but they weren't the best.
No,
like
they
like
weren't.
all the whisper stuff that they can do now.
Yeah,
these very intimate moments.
Yeah.
Everything that was happening in these old movies from like the 40s and the 50s, like they were yelling like they have like somebody in the back of the room has to hear them because they did.
But they weren't okay. That was also the era of the stage, and they still shot movies like it was on a stage. So they put the microphone way fucking back. Okay?
Well, they had to, I mean, it had to be out of the shot. And they'd have these massive...
Do you know why they had the massive shots? Why the wide shots? This is a fucking great story, man.
I'm intrigued. Why do they have... I know John Ford was everything about the expansive.
Well, that was the expanse.
Shot.
That was the theoretical part. That's different. The wide shot was so prevalent in early films because producers insisted on it. The director's like, well, we want to get in close to show emotion. They're like, no, we paid for the whole actor. You should see the whole actor. It wasn't until
that's way more commercialized.
Birth
than
of a
one would
Nation,
think.
like first close up actually comes into play story wise, thematically.
I paid for that elbow. I want to see that elbow move.
Dude, producers were furious. Fucking furious. It's like, yeah, I paid to see the whole girl. Show me the whole girl the whole time.
That's just people who are in charge who have no fucking idea what they're doing.
It's
still happening to this day.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
The next question is...
Ooh, questions. I want questions.
Or the next thing is...
Damn it.
Oh, this is based off of what Nick was saying before.
The Flash movie.
It says, or am I remembering the good and forgetting the bad ones? The oldie stations playing the highlights.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
There is a reason my wife and I are going down a rabbit hole of trying to find all the worst films from the 80s because we love it. It's fun. But there's way more movies made in the 80s than you can think of. Way more. You're just remembering the really, really good ones.
I mean, like, if people are going to think about the movies from like 2005 on, it's just going to be a shit ton of superhero movies.
Yeah. So there's actually a giant problem right now with the Hollywood system. This is why television is so fucking good. Oh, did he?
Matt Damon did an entire thing of why only superhero movies can be made. And it was very, very well thought out and in a very short amount of time.
Oh.
Where he essentially said,
it's the only thing making money.
Because it makes money and
That's
it's guaranteed.
Yeah, it's the blockbuster is the only thing coming out. Every single movie. Dude, Jaws was the first blockbuster. The term blockbuster literally comes from people wrapping themselves around blocks to go see a movie. Okay, then you had Star Wars. Then you had like these big fucking movies. But every year was maybe two. Maybe two. Definitely one, but maybe two. And all the money went to smaller projects, smaller films. In the 90s, you started seeing like 2, maybe 3, and that's pushing it, per summer, per year, right? And then you get to the 2000s, and then every movie has to be a higher budget. Dude, the last 20 years has been painful because every movie, like, I can't count how many times someone has watched a trailer with me and going, I don't know anyone in this movie. I'm like, you don't have to. Do you like the story? That's what you're going to go see. Well, no, I don't know anyone. Well, that means they have to pay for someone to be in that movie. If they have to pay for it, that budget goes way fucking up. Oh, Jim Carrey's in this? Well, that's another $20 fucking million.
I'll pay. It's cool to see like a character or an actor that you like, but I'll pay for the director.
Director or story.
Or the writer, yeah.
There's so many good stories out there that I would have never given a chance if I have just looked at the cast or the above the line people. It's remarkable, you know. But now, literally every movie that is out is aiming to be a blockbuster. Dude, how much do you think the average movie costs to make? Like, you and I were talking about making a movie, and we were hemming and hawing over a couple grand.
It's probably like 150 million.
Okay, 100. That's on the higher end. Like Star Wars, was it 7 or 8? Cost 260 million, which is like one of the highest budget movies ever. But like the Marvel films,
Avatar was $1 billion.
Well, you're talking about multi-films, and also. You're talking about advertising. This is why movies don't make money. Like this is a great fucking story, and I'm gonna tell it wrong. I'm sorry, but like every movie that comes out, they only care about the first 2 weekends. Like the people in charge of making the money, they only care about the first 2 weekends. After that, they are not gonna make their money back. It's done. It's dead. Unless they made their money back the first 2 weekends.
That makes no sense, especially like if you have something that got real popular for like DVDs.
But they're few and far between.
Well, they are now.
How many can you really name?
The DVD ones?
No, I'm not saying DVD, but I'm saying like something that becomes more cult status later on.
It happened a lot in the 90s. I do know that.
A lot?
Yeah. Yeah, it ended up happening a lot in the 90s because the 90s pushed the DVDs really, really hard. Big Lebowski didn't make it
very
until...
good point. Well, didn't make it. That's one.
Austin Powers didn't make it.
Austin Powers was actually pretty popular
Austin
in the
Powers,
theater.
Nobody knew it happened until Austin Powers came out.
Okay, I was in a store that was literally pushing that movie when it came out to theater, so maybe I'm a little blinded by that. But that was like... Name 2.
That was like 30 years ago. It was way more in the 90s than it is now because they don't even do DVDs really anymore.
Well, yeah, and then the home market is very fickle because you can literally start watching something and turn it off halfway through.
I really
give everything a chance.
I wish we could just see what the numbers are in streaming.
I think that would be. They won't.
Like, why not?
That's part of the whole fucking strike thing.
It makes no sense.
It
like,
doesn't
not seeing
make
the
sense. I don't know. That's a whole different beast.
Nick writes in and says, oceans are heating up, bugs are dying off. If we're sure civilization was going to an end, what would your plan be?
Ocean's 11, bug life. What was the last part?
Oceans are heating up.
Ocean's 11.
Bugs are dying off.
Bug's life.
If you were sure civilization was going to end, what would your plan be?
I never played Civilization. It was a big popular game on PC, but I never.
So I guess it goes to the next thing. Feel free to skip my question.
No.
Stuff at the wall.
It's actually a very good question, but it's like, God, that's bleak, man. We went from like fun topics to bleakness really quick.
Well, I don't mind talking about bleak.
No, I don't
real,
either.
Dude.
Yeah, and here's me saying like, oh, I love living in fantasy worlds.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do documentaries or dramas
so
anymore.
with the oceans heating up and bugs dying off, I think like moving north is going to be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think climate migration is going to be a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think like a lot of Florida, there's going to be a lot of Florida there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be leaving Florida due to so many different.
Well, I hope they don't leave. I hope they just die off.
It'll only be poor people that leave because there'll be land that is affordable.
That's what you were
there'll be
saying.
land that'll be left off, but only the rich people could afford it. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
poor people are going to go north.
Mm.
Same thing with like parts of Texas. It'll be Alabama. The poor people are going to leave California. The
Yeah,
poor
yeah,
people
yeah.
are going to leave Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. Poor people are going to have to leave, and they're all going to move north. It sounds like the Chicagoland area is going to probably heat up.
You were saying this is going to be like the big.
I think it's going to be like
Great Lakes area.
I think the Great Lakes area is going to be the epicenter of a lot of stuff. I think due to Chicago being here, there's going to be a lot of people that come here.
Mm.
I would have to say if you own a home right now, don't sell if you're in the Chicagoland area because your property values are probably going to go through the roof because you own property in an area that a lot of people are going to want to be in. And you'll be put in a position like it was with the people who wanted to move to Denver, who are like from California, where their property values, because their family had owned the homes for such a long time, and their property like quintupled. You could sell your home for $1 million if you're on the edge of somewhere, and then you can go somewhere else. And I would like, in my head, I think hold on to the property here as long as possible, and then move to Duluth. Where
or north, because that shit's gonna that ecosystem's gonna change.
I think Duluth is gonna.
Duluth is the next big city.
I think Duluth is gonna be the next big happy city.
Yep.
And it's gorgeous there. I love Duluth.
I love it, and the people are so fucking nice.
So I think Duluth is gonna be big. What are some other? I mean, there's like a handful of places. Trying to think of like some of I guess Minneapolis would probably be on that list.
Minneapolis is nice too. I mean, there's not so great parts of it, but it's a nice city.
But as far as like bugs dying off, I guess like if you can't grow plants, that's bad.
That's huge.
And if you don't have pollinators,
Dude, I mean, we saw it this year with our gardens. My shit just now. What are we? The end of September. Just now, stuff is ripening.
yeah, we have a lot of stuff that hasn't ripened yet. But I feel like we put everything in super late because it poured.
Oh man, I
all the way until
was,
like May.
I was on time because you're supposed to do it the weekend of Mother's Day or after, and it's just like I'm biting at the bit because I'm literally growing behind here January 1 because I'm dumb and I just want to start gardening because I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I waited till February 1. And I was like, okay, this is good. But like they didn't grow as big, so I was a little disappointed, but I got them outside the first day I could. And then it rained like crazy. And then it was no rain. So shit didn't grow for months. And everyone, like I'm on the garden subreddit. Everyone's having a horrible time, except for people in the South who are blooming like crazy because they had a massive amount of rain and a massive amount of heat.
Yeah, it's a weird one, man.
My fear is farms. If this continues, if this trend continues, and everything I've been listening to says this is the new thing, it's just going to get hotter and hotter. And it's not going to get hotter over decades. It's going to get hotter over each year.
Almost every year, every summer, and like every day in the summer is just the next hottest record.
Yes.
in
But
human history.
Don't worry, John. Global warming's not real.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as people don't panic, if I had a lot of money, I would funnel my money into making sure that people didn't panic and take away things from me until the very last minute, until I can just push away from my yacht and call them suckers. That's what I would do. Or go to Mars or go in outer space.
See, the funniest thing about this is I know how much of a humanitarian you really are. And like, it's funny to hear you say this stuff when
I'm saying this because this is actually happening with super rich people. There's
that. Yeah.
There's billionaires that own everything.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to, go to another fucking planet.
Yeah.
And then everybody else has to fight over
The scraps
down here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is a little depressing, ain't it?
So the Flash.
Yeah, the Flash. Hey,
He didn't eat the fucking candy bar. Dude, she threw it at you. Fucking at least eat it.
What a piece of shit.
Piece of shit. Just eat a sandwich. Wipe off what you don't want.
So Pez writes, if Disney came up to each of you and said, pitch us a Star Wars movie, what would your pitch be? What characters, what era, what style, etc.? Ooh, man, what a great question.
I've thought about this.
Have you? Okay, you go first then.
All right. So I want a slice of life Star Wars story. I want nothing to do with the galactic battle. I want nothing to do with Jedi whatsoever because I'm so bored of the Jedi lore. I'm bored of the Jedi fighting. I'm utterly... Anytime a lightsaber kicks out, my brain stops. I'm so done with it. I want to know what's happening in the bar down the street while shit's happening. Do you remember how we did a Half-Hearted Headache, where it's like where the story was gonna go was that the epicenter of every monster in existence was going to come from that town. There was going to be a hole that opened up to dimensional portals to release every fictional monster in existence on this town. And that's what I want happening, because Half-Hearted Headache was just like, hey, that's happening in the background. What movie are we watching today? What coffee am I going to get? I want to see a funny, not like a comedy, but like a fun slice of life story about people who live in the Star Wars universe who have nothing to do with the overarching story.
I think you could probably do like a Tales from the Cantina.
Yes.
Real cool.
That's what I'm talking about. Just like Tales from Jabba's Palace or Tales from the Cantina. I loved those books. Those were hands down my favorite Star Wars books because it told me about the shit that was happening behind the scenes that made the world feel lived in. It's not about the heroes, okay? One of my favorite books is a dumb book. I'm not a big fan of it, but I really loved where it was going. It's called The Rest of Us Just Live Here. And it was a world where superheroes existed and you never fucking saw them once in the book. It was literally just these 5 kids dealing with their own shit while superhero battles were going on. And it was so enthralling. I love that. I love that. It's like the side stories in Worm. You know, like when you open up that side story, like every arc had a side story, and you start the side story, you're like, I don't want to read this. I don't want this side story. I want to keep going with the main story. And then you got to the end of the side story and you're like, this is the best story ever. I want 10 more chapters of this.
I rarely felt that with a side story.
I loved them. I loved them all. Even like the less than good ones. Now, you listen to the audiobook. Motherfucker. I listened to the audiobook too. That taints the story a lot.
That's because they always had like the worst readers. They gave them
that one Irish girl.
The Irish girl was awful. Yeah, she was really bad.
The book's amazing. It really is amazing. I loved it. I'll put it that way.
I think it was a guy really made his bones while doing it, but I don't think it's like the best story ever.
I'm not saying it's the best story ever. I'm saying it's amazing. I would reread that motherfucker
Sure was
in a heartbeat.
Long
as fuck.
Sure was long. 181 hours or something like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
For
161 hours. Yeah.
It's a big book.
It was.
I never dived into
not much of an ending
2 yet.
No.
I liked the ending.
I didn't.
I know. We've never talked about it. That's like
because you never finished it.
I finished it. I finished it a while ago. I told you like 3 years ago. I was like, John, I finished. Let's talk. And I never heard from you again. It was over Thanksgiving weekend, and I was like, hey, I finished the book.
I don't know, I was probably busy.
Yeah, probably. But I have brought it up on the show before, too.
So slice of life.
Slice of life, what's happening behind all this shit. That's what I would watch. Just give me good characters. The story is not as important as the characters.
Man, I think like one of the stories that I really enjoyed was one of my favorite books was Outbound Flight.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Like the Balin guy who's in Ahsoka. I wonder if he's part of Outbound Flight.
We haven't talked about this yet. Can we talk about this really quick?
Sure.
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I am not interested in any of the protagonists. Okay. None of them are compelling to me. The villains,
yeah,
they're amazing.
They sure are.
Every time we cut away from them in the show, I groan a little.
They are super good. It sucks that the guy died. He died like a week before the show started.
No!
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. It really sucks, huh? Like died in real life, died. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, and he was really, really good.
Literally every one of them.
He
is compelling as shit.
He's really, really an amazing character.
I don't know any of their names, and I'm sorry.
I don't remember them
but
either.
They are so good. The main woman, the woman they broke out of the prison.
The witch.
Yeah. The moment she walked out of the door in the very beginning, I was like, I am captivated by her because she was just waiting to be rescued. She wasn't in turmoil, problem. She's like, oh, it's about time.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I like her.
Yeah,
and
it's really good.
And then the guy never falters. Like the
He's
bearded
good.
guy.
Yeah, so you could tell that like...
you can tell there's like hints of worry and concern.
You know that he still has like a code.
Yeah.
He obviously says he's not a Jedi anymore. So with Outbound Flight, and I guess to answer Pez's question, Outbound Flight was really cool because it started when Anakin was a young kid. He was the guy who started it was, you know, somebody who was before, not Sidious. Darth Tyrannus was
Plagueis.
No, not Plagueis. Darth Tyrannus was Count Dooku.
Oh, Dooku. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Dooku's master was the guy who went out there to do all that stuff. And like the way that this guy acts, like I know like when they did like one of the real quick one takes when they showed Dooku and he was an older man, like they showed Dooku as like kind of like a medieval knight type of guy, right? And this guy, like the way he handles himself is very knight-like. The way he handles the saber, like it's almost like he's swinging a broadsword.
Yeah.
It's the way that he does everything, and it's like,
Good
man,
read.
Like, and I'm really thinking, like, man, this is a guy who, like, did he go out there with Outbound Flight? Is he the guy? What the hell's his name? I'm trying to remember the name of the guy from Outbound Flight, but he's like the one who originally went out there.
Yeah.
He's the one who originally met Thrawn. He's the one who originally sees the Yuzavong.
The Yuzavong. Yep.
And he brings like a lot of Force-sensitive people out of the universe because they want to like check out different solar systems that are outside. And it's so fucking cool. And it's all the exploration, which I think it's so neat to see like what's outside the universe. So we're going to be seeing that. You're going to be seeing... You're going to see for the first time ever in Star Wars history what's outside of the universe.
Yes.
On Ahsoka, which I'm really excited about.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, like, okay, like, Thrawn's in it. Check. The guy who possibly is from Outbound Flight. Check. I'm wondering, is this, like, the way that they're going to bring Yuzavong into the universe?
I thought that was obvious. I thought that was, like, the next big thing because Thrawn was the Force saying we need to build the Empire to... fight the Yuzavong, right?
Because he knew how dangerous
because he knew like they were the end-all be-all problem.
The Sidious knew about the Yuzavong.
Thank you.
And Thrawn was somebody who was from outside the universe who knew how dangerous the Yuzavong were. And
I remember that from the trilogy.
And he didn't...
The Holy Trilogy.
And he didn't... So, like, there's just, like, a lot of stuff that's, like, getting really rich with, like, some of, like, the really cool nitty-gritty stuff. And at first, like, I was really worried about how they do the Yuzavong and stuff like that. Yeah. And, you know, and I was always kind of thinking that the Yuzavong was like a rip-off of the Borg.
I thought they were like creatures, though.
They're
They're like a hive mind creature.
They hate technology because technology killed their planet. Everything that they have is like an organic machines, and they are not. The Force doesn't work on them.
Right.
And they're like and they live completely off of pain. Like they do everything to feel pain, and they're incredibly dangerous. And I was like, it's like this neat thing that's like way bigger,
overwhelming force that has never been seen in Star Wars.
It's a massive, overwhelming force that scared even Sidious. And I'm wondering, like, is this going to be something that they're going to bring in to like kind of take things over? I can't ruin. I mean, I don't know what to talk about with you. There's so much more to talk about with
Ahsoka,
and what happened on
Rebels.
On Rebels and with
Clone Wars.
Yes.
I love filling in the gaps. Mad Libs is fun with you.
Yeah. Oh, you do a great job, especially for somebody who hasn't seen it. I mean, do you want me to just ruin it for you if you're never going to watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, so when they went to this planet...
wait, spoiler alert, especially since we're live.
Okay. When they went to it came out like 12 years ago.
I know, but what if someone's waiting?
So Mortis was a planet that Anakin and Ahsoka and Obi-Wan went to.
Okay.
And there was like some weird massive pull to get them all to this planet.
Okay.
And they found out that like there is in fact a center, I think like a force center of the universe where there's a father, a son, and a daughter that are the center of all the force. Or like they're kind of like the keepers of the force, right? And the father kind of had to control the daughter, who was like everything that was the light side of the force, the protector of the light side of the force, and the son, who was the protector of the dark side of the force. The dark side wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And the good side wasn't good.
Right. It's the balance.
It was all about balance.
Right.
And the father is the one who kind of like
sense.
kept everything in check. And when Anakin showed up, the father's like, good, you're finally here. You're the chosen one. You're here finally.
Oh.
You have to stay because you have to take care of my son and my daughter. I can't do this anymore.
Oh.
And all of this stuff happened where like the father wanted to leave, the son didn't want it to happen, and then like the son kills the daughter, and the
very Mark of Cain-ish.
Very Mark of Cain-ish.
Yeah.
And I think the father, I think the daughter dies. The son is still around.
That makes sense.
But the part of when the daughter dies, she gets brought back to life, but part of her ends up living inside of Ahsoka. Okay. That's why when you see there's like a force bird or like a force owl that has been around Ahsoka and has kind of been like her symbol for a super long time all throughout. And that's the thing that's like, this is why like Dave Filoni like hid all this super important stuff in the background of all these things. And it's always just been kind of going. So Ahsoka's kind of, she's always had this thing always following her around of like, now that like the good side and the daughter is imbued on her. And if you notice like her lightsaber, she never had a colored lightsaber. She always had a white,
it's always been white. Yeah.
She's always had a white lightsaber. And like, so Anakin and Ahsoka and all them, they all left. They left Mortis and they left it in ruin.
Okay.
And they never replaced anybody. All the things that they wanted to do, they just like left it as a mess and they went on their own ways.
So there's no balance.
Now, and like the balance kind of started possibly on Mortis, was possibly where a lot of this happened.
Okay.
Like why there was an imbalance in the force. Possibly. I don't know. So when they go to Rebels, what ended up happening in the Rebels.
Oh, sorry. That was Clone Wars?
That was Clone Wars.
Gotcha.
And like years later when they got to Rebels, spoiler alert, again, Rebels came out a long time ago. Let me make sure nobody's pissed off. Don't listen if you guys are. Okay. In Rebels, there was a lot of symbology on Lothal, which is the planet that the younger Jedi kid was living at, and Ezra. Okay. Ezra Bridger, a bridge between two things. Ezra started to notice like a lot of symbology things from Mortis with the father and the son and everything like that. And as he's learning stuff about the Force, and he's learning the ways about the Bedawa, which was
right.
And
right.
I had said this a long time. I always felt like, I also hated like the Jedi. I was never like I liked the Jedi when I was younger because it was really cool.
Well, yeah. As
after
a kid,
a while,
great,
I wasn't really interested in it because like the Jedi were always like, we're super good and we do this and we're super bad. And as you get older, it seems kind of silly. With Rebels, they started to bring this idea of like a third or another way, a more of a balanced way.
Okay.
And that was really something that Ezra started to know, where like Ezra had things from good and bad. Like Ezra messed around with
dark elements,
with like Sith holocrons and stuff.
Okay,
like that.
Okay.
He learned things, and he ended up being really good and like way more powerful than he should have at a young age, because he was really, really adept at being good, but he could also do bad things as well. Yeah. But as that story progressed, you find out that Sidious wanted to get a hold or be able to get to this place called the World Between Worlds. He knew that there was a place, not in the real world, but in a whole nother plane of existence, where you could go and it would make you incredibly powerful.
Okay.
And one of the ways to get to it was on Lothal, where they had all this symbology from Mortis.
Like a portal or
like a portal.
Okay.
So in Ahsoka eventually ends up being like this, you don't know what happens to Ahsoka at the end of Clone Wars, but you know that there's they're like their point of contact for a lot of their stuff. You don't know who this person ends up being Ahsoka.
Okay.
In Rebels.
Okay.
And and she's fighting alongside them and she's trying to do all these things, and Vader is trying to stop them with all this stuff. Vader finds out that there's 2 Jedi and he tries to go after them. So like it ends up being this point where Ahsoka kind of finds out like, oh my God, like Vader is Anakin.
Yeah.
And they both end up on is it Melkor or Melkor's where's the place where he fell into the lava?
Oh fuck. Bob.
Yeah. Anyway, they end up at the place where he ended up turning into Vader, the place where they had all the lava and everything.
That's where Vader has his castle.
Where Vader has his castle. I think it's Melkor shit. Anyway,
it does begin with an M though.
And Ahsoka, and this was an amazing, this is like one of the best episodes where like she's fighting Vader and part of the mask comes off. Oh my God, it was like so amazing because it was so incredibly good. And you can kind of like, I just remember like Vader, it was either Vader or Anakin. It's like, have you seen what I've become? Like it's so heartfelt, and it's, oh my God, it was just,
they tried to do that in Obi-Wan and it failed miserably.
Yeah, no, they did great, I think. I remember just getting like goosebumps and everything over that, and probably because like you didn't see it like it happened once already with Ahsoka.
Okay,
so like you see the thing with Ahsoka, so you get this, like it's
now
almost
you see
like
it with Obi-Wan.
Then you see it with Obi-Wan, so it's like it was just this really great recall of storytelling. But then they try and go to save Ahsoka, and then she closes it down, and then for like 2, 3, 4 seasons, like you just assume that she's dead. Like you never know. So when they're trying to figure out how to get into this world between worlds that Palpatine's trying to get into,
right?
Or Sidious, Ezra figures it out with a holocron, with a Jedi holocron, and he ends up being this place that it's almost, it kind of looks like have you ever seen
a moose chewing walnuts in a room?
Yeah. The what the hell is that? The Time Bandits. You ever seen Time Bandits?
Fucking loved it. Yeah.
Okay, so like how it's just like a single plane and just like it's white lines and just doors.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a massive place with the same symbology from Mortis, but you're standing on this place and there's doorways that are everywhere.
Okay.
And as Ezra's walking through it, he sees a portal open and he sees Ahsoka fighting Vader in this portal, and he sees Vader about to kill her, and he pulls her out. And essentially, like, time has passed since that occurred. So time travel officially happens in Star Wars because of this world between worlds. And then so he saves Ahsoka through time in this place that he shouldn't be. And then, like, you can see that Sidious is trying to get in, and Ahsoka and him, like, she doesn't know what the hell is going on. And
well, rightfully so.
They fight their way out, and he ends up taking the holocron to get out of the world between worlds and gets rid of it. And that's kind of, so they've, like, opened up this whole massive thing of the thing with Mortis and the symbology, and, like, kind of where Ahsoka fits in that, and where Anakin fits in that, and the way there's this world between worlds, and if you're in control of it, or if you're in there, you live in all existence and all time. So where did you leave off with
Ahsoka?
She
sees Anakin.
Okay. That place.
That's the world between worlds?
That's the world between worlds.
Real quick, you remember how I've told you about the Marvel character that I love the most, Gwenpool?
Yes.
That's her superpower.
Is the world between worlds?
Yeah. She can live between panels.
Oh,
and she can time travel and jump and move and change things. So time travel exists in the Star Wars universe.
Time travel, I don't know. I don't know the mechanics of it. That's what's really interesting, is because I remember them saying, like,
I'm glad there's no explanation. Don't give me midichlorians. Let me live in the lore.
I think I remember. So a big thing that they talked about at the end of spoiler alert, at the end of Rebels, Kanan is Ezra's master, right? And he ends up sacrificing himself. Like, one of the greatest, Rebels is awesome. It was such an amazing show.
I've heard
he ends up like
good things about
he's
it.
Literally, like, stopping this massive fireball, and he's holding it and containing it just in time to get his friends out, and he has to release it and kill himself to save everybody.
Not unlike Black Magic Cop.
Yes, just like Black Magic Cop. So when he's in the world between worlds, he sees Kanan.
Okay.
And knows, I can save Kanan. But he knows. But the thing that they really tried to reiterate was, if you save somebody or make changes, consequences are going to occur because of it.
Which is beautiful. I love that.
So the thing that I wonder, when they showed Vader and Ahsoka fighting in Melkor,
she pulled.
So what they saw was that when they were fighting, that whole like castle, that whole part that they're in, that temple was collapsing in on itself. I think what ended up happening was Ahsoka and Vader. This is my theory.
Okay.
Ahsoka and Vader died.
Okay.
They should be dead.
Should be.
But because he pulled her out,
she's an amalgamation. There's something wrong.
Because she pulled her out, Vader ended up living. He was allowed to continue to live because Ezra saved her.
Okay.
Had he never changed time, Vader should have been dead.
But however, that leads into meta knowledge.
And that's why it's. Well, no, that's my. That's my theory.
I like it. That's my theory.
My theory is that.
But the problem is we already know he's alive because of episode 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, but we also know. We know he's alive because possibly he's alive because Ezra saved Ahsoka.
Correct.
So it's like one of those weird. I'm not 100% certain of the mechanics.
Okay.
I do know that the idea that I feel like they were pushing was that if any changes happen in the world between worlds, you have to pay consequences.
Which I like. That's age-old storytelling. That's Monkey's Paw.
You really got to watch the next, because there's so much more for me to tell, but because you haven't watched the next episode.
Yeah. I'm going to keep watching Ahsoka, mostly for the fucking villains. I want to see what they're doing. I don't really give a shit.
You got to remember, Again, because I know all the knowledge of everything else.
Of course.
Yeah, the villains are cool, but there is so much more like huge arcing backbone story. It's like, that's a neat little character in the grand scheme of like 10 to 14 years of story
yes,
coming to fruition and bearing fruit.
Trust me, I understand.
For the first time, and it's like, oh my God, this is so fucking amazing right now.
You're talking to the person who lives that kind of mindset, who will.
And it makes me sad that like
shit.
It makes me sad that like you never wanted to be part of it because you couldn't finish it.
No, I want to be a part of it. The problem is I'm just not engaged with it. It's so Rebels, I didn't give the full first season. I gave a couple episodes, and it was so kiddie.
I mean, there's so many things where like
kiddie shit
where you just have
me.
to choke it down and just do it. And I know because of your background, you're like, well, I shouldn't have to. And I feel like, you miss out. There's so many things that suck in the beginning. I was just watching something the other day that was talking about the comparison of Parks and Rec to Seinfeld.
Okay.
Where Parks and Rec, if you take Parks and Rec based off of the first season, it's a failure. It's awful.
Disagree.
It is objective that the first season of Parks and Rec did not do as well as everything else.
Oh,
they had to fire people. Yeah. They had to change things up.
Yeah, of course.
Characters didn't know what they were going to be yet.
Correct.
In the grand scheme of things of what it became,
yes,
the first season was awful because it wasn't quite baked yet.
Yes, I agree with that.
Seinfeld was the same way where like even like some of the character names in Seinfeld in the first season, like Kramer wasn't really Kramer. Characters weren't done yet. They were trying to figure out what it was going to be.
But that's how most shows are.
Yeah. So when it comes to like Rebels and stuff like that, it's I get like they started a thing. They're figuring it out.
Tonality needs to start early.
I mean, I think you're arguing because you know the book so well.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Because you know the book so well and how things should go. Because I find myself doing this when I'm talking to Heather. Because I'll watch something and I'll go, this, and this are going to happen.
Yeah, right.
Because I've watched the first 5 minutes of it.
Well, because you understand story structure.
Yeah. It will ruin things. And I feel like you're allowing the structure of how you believe that it should be, and you rightfully so, because it often is done that way. You're really cutting yourself out of some of the, and I've told you this before, some of the greatest story. Ahsoka's story is the greatest story in Star Wars.
Gone record multiple times saying it. I know. I know.
I'm starting to feel that Ahsoka, and rightfully so, is replacing Rey. Rightfully so.
Rey's terrible character.
Of what the story should have been.
Okay.
And with the world between worlds, there could be clever retconning of things, possibly. But I've always said that like the movies are these bricks that you're laying on top of each other. It doesn't work unless you have the mortar. And the way that they kind of, or it's more of like stone, like there's all this stuff that they have to shove in between these stones that would topple otherwise.
Yeah.
Unless you did it. But that was always been Star Wars.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. That goes back to the first one.
Yeah, because they literally start you on number 4. You know what I mean?
I mean, not only that, but like little shit too. Like, oh, Mark has a fucking scar on his face in the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, so we need to invent a Wampa attack.
Yeah.
You know, like it's.
But it was a car accident.
Yeah, right. And there's always stuff in between the movies ever since the beginning, and I fully respect the shit out of that. The tonality, not the story structure, is what gets me.
It's too kiddie.
It's way too kiddie,
and it stops.
And
it
that's
always
what
gets more old.
That's what people tell me.
When Dave Filoni got like massively ripped off because he couldn't do the last season of Rebels.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, the last season of Clone Wars.
And then Netflix brought it back.
The last season of Clone Wars is so amazing. The last 2 episodes of Clone Wars is amazing. It's so amazing. Like all of that, like Dave Filoni is so good.
He's an amazing storyteller.
And all this stuff it was a kiddie show because it's about a kid, you know. And like in the same way that they did it with Harry Potter, you're literally growing with these people, and it's Yeah, it starts off because you're dealing with a little kid, and they grow up and they turn into,
Does the kid shit
characters.
go away though? Like
Yes.
the jokes and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Because I think that's the one thing about Star Wars I don't want. I don't want the humor. I don't want the little nudges in the ribs. I don't want that shit.
I think you kind of get that a little bit with like. They always that is
I
Star
want the
Wars
samurai film.
The Star Wars stuff is campy though, right?
No.
And I think Star Wars is 100% campy.
I disagree. I think it's taking a camp subject and handling it respectably.
There was always like the goofy shit in the background that's just George Lucas. Like it or not, George Lucas made that a part of
Like what?
What the hell? The Ewoks.
All right. I mean, that was obviously toyetics.
Yeah, but I mean I agree. It's George Lucas is trying to make sure that he gets the fucking those kind of toys.
It was
man.
a check, man.
But that's just a part of the way that the stories are told now. So Chopper, you'll have Chopper is like
I'm sick of the droids. Oh my
they are
God.
I'm agreeing with you. They are really pushing droids. The droid thing that I think that they started with Solo, where they kind of have them as a
That was
kind of
the
like
one.
like they're the slaves.
The snide sarcasm bullshit.
Okay, the sad droid from
The good one. The
Yeah.
good movie. The
good
one
movie.
the one played by Wash.
yes, like I love that.
I do too,
All right.
but I don't want to see it again. I don't want to see another one
understand that.
like it.
So like Chopper is another astromech droid.
Yeah.
The reason why I like Chopper, I'm pretty certain I can hear the swear words in Chopper.
Oh,
and a lot of people joke about it. I was like,
Yeah.
that fucking droid said fuck.
Yeah.
Like I know that droid said fuck.
And I didn't watch Rebels, but I'm watching Ahsoka, and you can hear it in there.
Yeah, he's the mouthiest droid out there. I do. I really like. I really like him. Brack. What the hell's the big guy who is obviously designed is Ralph McQuarrie's original design.
Yeah.
So he's kind of weird in some of the things where I kind of like don't like him as much, but like he grows older, and they did the live action version of him, and you can kind of see like they played him straight.
Dude, to me the droids are very like, hey, we can't figure out how to make this story element work. Have a droid do it. It's basically space magic.
MacGuffin, a space MacGuffin.
Yeah, it's a space MacGuffin.
I mean it all is.
It's like, just make it work. Hey, R2, open the door. It's, all right.
All right.
Shove your little droid dick in the wall.
Next question.
Oh, good.
I know. Going back to climate change. There we go.
I want sadness and gloom in my podcast.
Oh, this is the Burgles.
Oh, shit.
Going back to climate change. What architectural changes / innovations / trends do you see coming in the next several years? I'll let you start off with this.
You're an asshole.
I'm interested in what you would say.
Architectural trends?
Yeah. Going back to climate change, what architectural climate innovation trends do you see coming in the next several years?
By the way, just a quick note. This is the gentleman who also is fighting the good fight, trying to get me to watch Rebels as well for a very long time.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I mean, I don't know. You have your finger on the pulse of this. I just look.
I'm
at shit
interested
and
in
go,
somebody who's not
who
in
has
the business.
No idea.
Yeah. What do you feel is the architectural community is doing?
Not
a goddamn thing.
Yeah, not enough.
I can't see anything from inside my box in the basement in a hole.
I mean, you said yourself that the architectural community is 70 years behind anything that is needed. Is that accurate?
I would say they're
If that's the case,
No,
shit
they're-
needs to
no as far
Hurry up.
as art movements, they're behind in art
art
movements.
movements. Thank you. Okay, so what do I see going? I see self-reliance, meaning I see more eco-friendly roofs, green roofs. I see more eco-friendly usable materials that aren't biodegradable but can self-produce electricity or energy in some source, whether that be energy, be water, food, nutrients, whatever. I see that being a big next step, and I see cooling of human comfortability being a big issue moving forward. I also see the need for not leaving the house eventually being a big thing. I think the desire will be there to leave the house and congregate and do whatever, but I think if the world is going as globally warming as we're expecting it to be, I think you're going to see more people hermiting and living and thriving online. And I think online communications have to protection of shield grids of wires and fucking fibers and that kind of
more
shit.
of an infrastructure to keep up with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The infrastructure was the word I was thinking. I think that's going to take place of city roads and highways. It's going to be more important to keep people connected digitally.
I think a lot of those things people are gunning for, or I think they're trying those right now.
Am I being too short-sighted?
No, I think some of those things they've been trying to do for 20 years, and a big problem with it is it's the architect can only recommend that it be done,
Right.
but the client has to pay for a lot of these
right,
things,
right.
right? So there's LEED is it's kind of like a program that was picked up by I think George Bush. It was either George Bush or it
Senior
was
or W?
W. It was
Okay.
either W or Obama who said that all federal buildings would be done to LEED. And it's sustainable practices is really what it would be to make sure that things are designed properly.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this on NPR. I remember driving. I remember exactly where I was when I heard about this on the news.
Yeah,
this is super interesting.
So you can see you'd have LEED silver, LEED gold, LEED platinum buildings.
What's the difference?
It's done by a point system, and how many points you get is whether it's going to be silver, gold, or LEED. A lot of people don't want to do it because you can still design to those standards and not have to pay for the LEED accreditation, because you essentially have to pay for LEED consultants to actually make it work. So I mean, it's pretty. It can get pretty intense. And I had done a LEED building in Canada, and I didn't really have to do anything with it. Like, they just kind of said, this is what we have to do as a strategy. This is what we have to do to get these points. And I would just kind of design to make sure that we're hitting all those things. And a lot of stuff is, it's just site stuff, making sure you're punching windows in the correct place, making sure that there's things put in place to, like you're picking materials that are local, stuff like that. I mean, and it's a good thing to do, but like in America, we act like it's this great new innovative thing, but that's how the rest of the world just does it normally.
Isn't it been like that since the dawn of building?
Yeah. I mean, and you would have to, like, you can't really design something where you're not picking local materials because you can't afford it.
Yeah, the cost goes astronomical.
Yeah. But they have stuff like WELL is another thing where it's more of not necessarily sustainable practices, but it's how people live inside of buildings.
Okay. Yeah.
To make sure that it's, they're living happy lives and they can actually be inside of a building and be very comfortable, and WELL is good. Recycling is part of WELL.
I'm not going to suck my own dick on this, but it sounds like everything I said was accurate.
A lot of the stuff you said is pretty good. Let's see. As far as he was talking about climate change, though. So I remember, like, back in 2006.
White hen.
Yeah, white hen. Back in 2006, there was a lot of stuff about 2030 challenge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of the things that we want are just not going to happen. And I remember, it's not only is it going to be the worst case scenario, but it's a way worse scenario than we thought it was going to be.
Oh, good.
Is the way that it's looking. And I remember thinking back in 2006, there should be something called Plan B architecture.
Okay.
I've read a book that like literally called it Plan B.
To like abort it.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry, everybody out there.
Just got to get
Jesus.
a coat hanger to clean out. Yeah, so
I'm glad I didn't.
I know.
Go ahead.
Really,
okay.
It's not very
Plan
good
B.
of me. It's really bad. So it's sustainable architecture is like usually it's not like just even like saying the word of like we're sustaining. We're doing just enough to make it work.
But sustainable means to reuse and to keep the quo, right?
To be able to sustain. So
to be able to sustain.
Yeah.
Yes.
So people are thinking less sustainability and more resilient design. Something that's actually going to be
good point.
Very strong and be able to be durable and is going to last. Not just sustaining, but being resilient.
But be able to last. Oh, okay.
And I think with a lot of that is like with urban planning, like people are going to have to not build in floodplains anymore. Like city planners, I understand that a developer wants to give you money and they want to sell homes to people where it's eventually it's going to flood, but they're going to get their money. But you're building in a floodplain. I mean, it's not the best idea.
Yeah.
So changing urban practices and urban planning is going to have to be something that's really going to hahappen.
You've been talking about that for decades, by the way. You've been talking about that for a very long time.
There's a village that I'm working with right now that is going away from like parking requirements, which is really good. There's something called new urbanism.
Ooh, what's this?
It's just trying to be trying to design better cities is really all that
I love it.
So with, every time that you go to design a building, the city or the village is going to have requirements saying how many parking spots you're going to need, right?
Okay.
And this is to kind of stop the sea of parking. Like, if I'm designing to a standard, some arbitrary standard of a list that like my building type has to apply on this very short list.
Okay.
Of how many parking spots I'm going to need. And,
okay.
Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, but it should be up to the person who owns the building on like how many spots they're actually really going to need.
Makes sense.
There was the way that they try to mitigate this before is they'll often say that, those little islands that you see out there.
Yeah.
So those are often for every 10 parking spots, you'll need one of those things. And that's to stop like the heat island effects with parking and things like that. So,
and for water flow, you were explaining that's me once too about water.
You have to have enough earth to kind of absorb the water so it doesn't sheet over the top.
Yes.
Kind of like at the last place that you lived where your neighbor built a very large hardscape.
Very good memory.
And the water shed over that onto your property. It's incredibly illegal what they did.
Onto property is not the right term.
Yeah.
In the basement.
Yeah, in the basement. Yes. Like what they did should have never been allowed to be built.
Right. You fucking A.
And you got to be on the business end of what happens when there's not enough ground.
Literally every time it rains, I still like my butt puckers and I still run downstairs.
You showed me once and showed me how the water was pouring over the.
I still have the video of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Go on.
I mean, there's that type of stuff.
I like that. What's that called? New urbanism. New urbanism. All right.
Yeah. As far as like resilient, I'm trying to think of what.
Do you think solar panels are worth it? I've had 3 people come to my house and try and sell me solar panels, and they keep using the exact same sales technique. It's like, it's free.
Yeah. But okay. So with that stuff, who owns the equipment? They own the equipment.
Okay.
And they're renting out your roof rent free. They're going to kind of cut you a deal on some of the solar panels.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to establish a massive grid. And it's cool. Like you're establishing an infrastructure over the course of a whole city.
You okay?
To try and like recoup some energy and be able to put it in a battery.
It's a great idea.
It is a great idea. But if you don't have a roof that's like there's a certain angle that it's supposed to be to actually recoup the maximum amount, because you want the sun to be as perpendicular to these panels as possible. It's just not really recouping the cost in a lot of things. Like there's a reason why a lot of people use it in say Arizona and not as much here because it's really your return on investment's actually going to occur there.
Makes sense.
Whereas here, somebody's putting equipment on your house that you don't own, and they're not paying you for rent at the cost of something, and I'm not 100% certain that the return on investment's ever going to occur.
Yeah.
Like what happens if there's a leak, or what happens if they go out of business? Like they're doing penetrations through your roof.
Yes.
And it's as somebody who's in that business, I would not do it.
Okay.
If I was in the Southwest, I would probably do something like that.
Okay. That's
and
good to know.
And it would be my equipment, and I would buy it myself, because there's a lot of grants that would pay for that stuff.
Oh.
So they're being able to use government grants that you're paying for to put things on your roof to not pay you to park things on your roof.
Okay. That's a beautiful note.
I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't sound right to me.
I've
had people try and sell
I have
it
a
to
big
me
philosophy about that, like wearing brands too, like Nike or Adidas or something. It's like, you're not paying me to wear your brand. I'm not going to wear it. That's why, like, whenever like I buy a hoodie or clothes, it always has to be unbranded. I don't know.
Not paying you?
Yeah, because they're not paying me. It's,
I mean,
unless I respect and love the company, like. That's not the right shirt. But like I have a lot of like Vinegar Syndrome shirts because I respect what they fucking do for film. And I don't mind spending money and putting their name on my shirt because I respect them and I follow them and I put my money where my mouth is. But you know, this is just eat a bag of dicks. So anyway, I don't know. I feel really, really strongly about that. Like I won't, like if I have a hoodie that says Adidas on it, nah, I'm okay.
I don't feel like it's worth paying for the logo.
Exactly. I'm saying, like, if I got it for free, I'd be like,
or even if you had it for free.
Yeah, maybe not.
Like if I don't know, but I would never like really go out of my way for that.
But like so I do shows down here, like for my company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my stuff is never branded. Any clothes I wear never has any brand unless it's my brand or something I wholly back. And that kind of just bled into my normal life.
I think it's fine.
Well, I think it's wonderful, but it's the same kind of mentality. It's like, hey, you're putting shit on my house that I pay for, and you're reaping the benefits.
Like,
let's talk.
When I've talked to people, and somebody will try and sell me that, and I'll be like, well, I have a hip roof. You're fine. You have a hip roof. And I was like, you get only a little bit of square footage that's actually facing south. Like, you're not going to get a lot. Oh, no, but you'll be fine. I was like, okay, I really don't believe you know what you're talking about.
Those are salespeople. Yeah. I anytime anyone pushes me for anything like that, I immediately lose all interest.
When it comes to anything with, like, dealing with contractors or people, like, I always hold my cards close. And I let people talk, and I'm going to find out whether they're going to actually tell me the truth.
I've been noticing this about you more and more. Ever since you and I started doing this podcast, I've noticed this thing with you. Like, you noticed the fucking flaring of my nostrils since I was 15 years old. I noticed that you've been staying quiet more. Why? Is it because you're waiting for people to keep talking? Because I do that same thing when I do interviews. And people always look at me like I'm like something's wrong with me.
Well, I mean, listening is important.
It's wonderfully important. But you're doing it way more now. It's very intriguing.
Was I talking over and being a meathead before?
No, not at all.
Because guilty is charged. Hey, Heister.
Thank you, Heister, for
guilty is charged.
And safe. No, but like you, I noticed it when you and I talk. Like when we used to do an old show, it was all about dick and fart jokes. You know, it was all like how do we one up this situation? How do we lead someone down a wrong path to make the joke? Things like that. But I'm noticing now that you're calmer, and I'm wondering if it's just because.
I mean, it was a character before.
I understand.
Which I'd like, which is fun to play the character.
It's very fun.
I'm just worried that like if the character ever gets out, people are like, that guy is a huge piece of shit because he said all these awful things.
It's
a
character.
It was a character. I was like, it was
like a TV show.
It was a face that you put on.
You're not Ross.
I was essentially telling people what was going on in my life. It was mostly true. Like we would talk about things, but as a character.
But we hyperbolically examined real things through a lens, a distorted lens.
Yes, and would like just play up the
and
stereotype on
crank
things.
it up a little bit.
So is that, I mean, if that's what you're talking about.
No, I am not talking about that. What I'm talking about is I've known you for a long time, and you've never been this stoic. You've never been like this right here. You are listening to every word I'm saying, and you're giving me the breath and the bandwidth to explain myself, which is a great listening technique, and it's wonderfully accepted, and I fucking love it. I love talking to you. I've always loved talking to you. But you're doing it way more now. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a wonderfully good thing. I'm just wondering, are you doing it consciously, or is it like a subconscious thing?
I guess it would be subconscious. 'Cause I didn't really realize I was doing it.
That's interesting.
I mean, I know that, again, like I was a character before.
Well, I mean, that was that. I'm talking like even off the show, when you and I would just talk.
I mean, I enjoy hearing what people say. It's always awesome to hear others, but like also what I was saying before, like I will hold back what I'm saying because I have knowledge on things, and they might not know that I know.
Right.
And I think it's beneficial to hold back.
To let them prove themselves, or to let them dig their own grave?
Both. Like, for example, there was when my mother's house caught on fire, there was a contractor that just showed up to the home. And I was immediately skeptical.
No shit.
Immediately skeptical. And he kind of, like, he offered his services, kind of said that this is what he does. Was being very helpful.
Yeah.
Nick was with me at the time, and I remember
good.
The guy, I was busy at the time. From what I had read immediately, because I literally only had a couple hours to figure it out, was what they said, like 3 out of 5 homes that are burned have things stolen from them. And that like worried me very much, worried my mother a lot.
After the fact or before?
After the fact. As soon as it's burned, people were like,
Ew.
There's a house is burned, let's go steal stuff.
Ew.
I know. So we ended up going there, and I tried to like retrieve as many valuable family heirlooms and stuff like that as we could. And this guy showed up during this, and and all he knew was I was at literally a smoldering home that was still like the smoke is still coming up.
Why would you talk to someone during that time frame? If you're not first responder, why would you?
So yes, and I felt the exact same way. So I just let him talk. He was incredibly knowledgeable. He was a really nice guy. He knew exactly what to do and listed off all the things that should be done and asked if he would like him to do it. And I said yes. I mean, because everything that he was saying made a lot of sense.
Okay.
It didn't sound like he was blowing smoke up my butt. His name's Keith. He ended up being the contractor for my mother. He's like one of the greatest men ever.
No shit.
Awesome. If your home's ever burned, it could have turned out really weird. I remember looking at Nick, and I was just like, we're going to beat this guy with a bat.
That's what I was thinking was going to happen.
If this guy's like stealing stuff. But no, he showed up. He was literally just done. This is what he does. He literally goes to homes that are burned. He's amazing with the people there. He's really good at working with the insurance companies. Is probably where he's the best at, because he understands how the insurance companies operate. And
hell yeah, give this guy a shout out if you like what he did.
But he ended up, he's really great to my ma.
That's important.
He was really good at doing design for stuff, and he was just he was talking about things and like how he had worked in the area and all this stuff and things that he had done, and I just kind of felt him out and asked some questions. And then when everything was said and done, I was like, oh, and by the way,
I'm an architect.
Yeah. So, like, you have my blessing.
You pulled out the little mini sword. Dab it. Good job.
Whoop. Well, I'm not licensed yet, so I can't officially say that I'm an architect.
It's a pocket knife.
I have to say, architectural designer. I still have exams to go.
How much more do you have?
Too many.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just put it off for a really long time.
Well,
we're
gonna have a party for you.
There's no like huge change when you get licensed. It's just like, okay, now you
hold on a second. Shut the fuck up. There's a huge change.
I can now be sued by people. That's the biggest change.
All right, fair enough. What I was going to say is
you're like your culpability goes through the roof. I can literally get sued just by showing up to places. Like
that's fucked up.
yeah. Like if something happens like structurally or something like that, and they know that I'm there,
No kidding.
and a lawyer can prove it,
Whoa.
I can get sued.
Okay.
So like when you go to like visit like a site while it's being built, and this will happen to people.
Yeah.
Like if I go somewhere and you got to sign in at the general contractors thing.
No
and
shit.
something happens, yeah, I get dragged through litigation.
My story was so much more whimsical and, and heartstringy.
There is a
Your litigious nightmare is scary.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like once you now I'm on the hook for 10 years after a building's
God.
built, whereas contractors only on the hook for like 1 to 2 years.
You're kidding.
Yeah, there's like a big. If you're.
I'd shift that around a little bit.
Well, the contractors take on a lot of the weight of the cost of things.
Yeah.
So by them fronting the cost of a lot of the materials and stuff like that,
much.
And they're the ones building it.
Okay.
They'll be on the hook for 1 to 2 years after the thing is built, or 1 to 2 years after the last problem, essentially. So like if something happens, then the clock starts over. But like an architect's on the hook for 10 years on some structural things, like a structural engineer, it could be on the hook for for the life of the building.
That I understand I understand that.
So, but like the structural engineer isn't like they don't have to front the cost of paying subcontractors or all the equipment or anything like that. But it's so I mean there's a give and take. I feel like I think like contractors probably make more money now. Every job used to be done by the architect a long time ago.
Yeah.
And now it's the architecture's profession is kind of split into.
Is someone writing a question? Because I gotta go pee.
Yeah. So it says, I love you guys. Gotta go. We'll listen later. Tell me when I get to be on the chair.
I love you, guys.
Okay. Well, he's I guess I'm by myself here. So let's see. There is one person in here, which is probably just me, maybe. Let's see. What do we want to talk about? So I think it's really impressive the way that Jay has like really, because he's not here, I'm going to talk to you now. The way that Jay has like really set up this whole room. Like what you guys can't see is there's like cables and things set all over the place, and he's figured out how to set this up with cameras and everything. It is just incredibly impressive, and it just makes me feel like a huge turd that I don't really have to do anything. When we had done a podcast before, I think the thing that I would offer before is my really awful humor, and I would do images for like the show. I don't even do that anymore. Now we just have AI do that. So I contribute very little to this now. Jay does most of the stuff. So if there's lots of thanks, all should be given to Jay.
Hey, look, flawless transition. No one knew I was gone. Just like a normal podcast.
On here, you're not even here yet.
What was that last part?
I was just talking about gerbils and Richard Gere and how I feel like he got shafted because he can't go to China anymore.
Dude, how shitty is that? That's the story that lives on forever with
that
Richard
he's a gerbil
Gere.
guy? Do you think anything had to do with gerbils?
I don't think so. I think someone lied.
You think it was China that lied? Because he was very outspoken against like all the stuff that was happening with China and Tibet.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm wondering if it was China is the one that pushed the gerbil story.
The up the butt story.
The up the butt story.
Maybe. That makes sense.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Because that does suck that out of all the things that he did, that's what he's known for.
Can you name a movie he was in?
Pretty Woman.
All right, well done.
There was another one in China, and he wasn't allowed to be in China anymore.
There was another one in China.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just sad that the dude is like that's what he's known for. Just like Pee Wee Herman. Pee Wee Herman was a fucking amazing kids entertainer. He made a show that was groundbreaking and great. And then dude, jerk off in one theater.
So I think when it comes to that stuff, like, while you had all those people, like, they were gay and there was no other way to meet anybody. And it was like this weird way that I was like, yeah, it was the only way you could meet somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, and everybody knew, like, that's where the, like, gay guys would go to do that stuff, right?
Or anyone. It didn't have to be.
So, like, if a cop wanted to be a jerk, they would just be like, hey, let's go beat up some gay people.
Yes.
And they go to the theater. Biggity bam, here's Paul Rubens.
Biggity bam.
And they just, like, beat on him. It was George Michaels. He was another one.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't, like, that's just kind of what they had to do.
It's shitty. I mean,
Yes.
When you said shitty, was that Siri that spoke up?
basically, yeah, that's fucking weird.
Siri, you're shitty. Boop.
Is there something else I can help with?
No. I want to
Okay.
stop talking. I wonder if these microphones could pick this up.
Well, I kind of hope so. I kind of hope that like my for a year now, I've been hoping no audio from that side of the room ever picks up, and now it's like I really
now
hope
let's
it
have
does.
a full conversation. It's when we started talking about droids that I got mad.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Are you gonna be Siri? Are you gonna be in the next Star Wars? Oh, she doesn't talk to me
she don't
apparently.
talk, yeah.
It's because I hate Apple. You got the Apple Watch, so you're part of the Borg already.
I know.
Do you like that thing? That thing freaks me out.
I do. Especially, like, if you're doing exercise stuff, or, you know, when you're fat like I am, and you're like,
Does
oh
it
my
feed
god,
you a Dorito or something?
I'm gonna have a
Coronary
heart attack.
Okay, good.
And you can find out, like, what your heartbeat is immediately.
Mm.
The other thing is you can actually, it'll tell you your heartbeat based off of your, it's 75 beats per minute, which is very healthy. The other thing that it'll tell you is actual what your like the way that your heart beats, and it can tell you if you have
You're my heartbeat.
Thank you, buddy. It'll tell you what it's called ECG. Here, see.
Every
this is really good.
chocolate is good.
Every chocolate is good. So what you do is you literally can put your finger right here, and it'll tell you your heartbeat.
Oh, that's fucking neat.
And there's some people who have
Irregular.
an irregular heartbeat.
Yeah, I'm well
And this
versed in
is-
that.
And this will actually tell you if you are having an irregular heartbeat, which would have helped, like, say, my wife's father, who
right.
had really bad heartbeat, or my wife, she has a wonky heartbeat. I think it's a hereditary thing.
I do too.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever want to know what's going on, if you have, like, a heart murmur, you can see it on there.
I do have a heart murmur. That's funny.
I do as well. Yeah, and it'll tell you whether it's a sinus rhythm, which it is,
Hmm.
and then you're good to go.
I think my problem with it is when I go to meetings, the people I sit down with meetings with, they're constantly looking at their watch while I'm talking to them.
So it vibrates.
I'm well aware.
It vibrates, and you automatically just do it. It'll just go, like, you'll feel like a pulse on your wrist, and you'll just look real quick.
No, I have a Samsung watch, and I stopped wearing it just for that reason. That every notification, I was like, "What is it? What is it? Oh, it's really it's cool." But I know, like, oh my god, it's just so aggravating because I know not every message that person is looking at while I'm having a conversation with them is important. I know their life just got regenerated in their game that they're playing, or their favorite cookie just went on sale on Amazon, or whatever.
Wait, it has? I think the biggest thing why I really like this is, I'm not a huge in Star Wars or Star Trek, but they have something called walkie-talkie. We'll see if my wife, you ever heard of walkie-talkie?
Yeah, we used to play with them as kids.
So let's see if Heather is going to answer. So
Oh my
we're gonna
God.
check availability.
Can Heather be a special guest?
Oh, Heather's not available.
She's like, fuck
So,
you guys.
I wonder if I have anybody else on walkie-talkie. So what it is, I don't know who this person is.
Oh my God, call him.
I don't know who that person is. I'm not going to do
It's
that.
9 o'clock at night. Is it
No.
9 o'clock? I don't know. Check your watch.
9:07.
Oh my God, we've been doing this for 3 hours. It looks like the podcast stopped. Oh no, we're not very active people. I thought the video froze.
He's just not moving very much.
All right. So that's where we're going to end the
so
real
that's-
podcast.
So that was the end. I think there's nobody else on. Or it says there's 2 people on here.
Well, one of them's me. Oh yeah, dude, we just hit the second beep of the recording. We're long.
We're long gone?
We're 3 hours.
How do you find out who's on here? Can you find out?
You can't see who's on here. That's like a privacy thing.
I could.
Could you?
Yeah, when I was on my phone.
Oh, on your wrist phone?
Oh no, it'll tell me who's texting. Or who's
Oh yeah,
messaging.
yeah. Who's messaging, but not like who's actually.
So we don't even know
on.
who's on there right now.
No, me. I'm one of them because that's how we're doing this.
Is it
So,
me?
The one is it you? Oh my god, dude, that would be the most
The
saddest
saddest thing.
fucking thing
Hold
ever.
on. Tell me if it goes off here.
Are you on?
I'm
Okay,
and I'm
there's
gone.
one person.
Yep, now it's one person. Yep, the other person was me. We were talking to ourselves for the longest time.
All right, dude. Thanks for the show.
Thank
That
you.
was fun.
All right. Thanks, Heister.